Local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. For Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
The Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440.
Hosted by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Fantastic positive Friday. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, as we come to you live today at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. For a long, long time, of course, honoring the John Reed and his commitment to hockey. So happy Friday to you. Lots of scouts, or lots of WHL scouts, lots of NCAA scouts. So it's a scouting extravaganza. So we'll talk a little hockey later on. We got former NHLer Richard Matvichuk will join us live from here. Also, of course, we'll set up a big weekend. The Oilers on the road in Vancouver tomorrow, 999th game for Nugent Hopkins. His family will be there, and then they will jet home, and Edmonton plays St. Louis on Sunday. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, that's a pretty big ticket. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' 1,000th NHL game. He's the first player in Oilers franchise history to play his first 1,000 games in the NHL as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. So pretty impressive. His 1,000th game, all with the Edmonton Oilers. He's the first player to do that for the franchise. And you know what? He's the 417th player in NHL history, 412 skaters, four goalies, and he'll be the 413th skater, 417th player to get to that game 1,000. But you look at his point total, so that's where he's just in games. In point totals, he's already in the top 150. So he's got a very good chance when he's done. Like when he retires, he'll probably be in the top 100 scorers of all time. It's crazy. Like, you know what? Nugent Hopkins he's not a superstar player, but he's a damn good player when you look at the numbers that he's going to put up by the time his career is over. He's got 782 points now. And, you know, he's got 3 more years left in his contract, right? And he's 32, so 33, 34, 35, right? He's going to play longer than 3 more seasons. So, you know, he'll be over, he's at 785 points, so he'll be over 800 points this year. 4 years of 50 points, it's not a crazy amount, and boom, he's at 1,000. It's wild. It's wild to think, man. Draisaitl was the 103rd player to get to 1,000 when he did it. And there's about 10 active guys, currently 12 active guys ahead of McDavid, but some of them aren't going to get to 1,000 points, right? Corey Perry's going to have to play another year to get there. Chris Letang's not going to get there, right? He would need 100 points. I just don't know. Like so he got 3 more seasons left at his age. I don't know. We'll see. So, you know, Nuge probably comes in and around 114th, 15th to reach it, but then he'll move up past a lot of the other players after that. So it's a really good career. It's probably a little bit underrated in a sense. I'm going to talk about Nugent Hopkins. We have an interview. We'll get to him later on. I talked to Nuge just about the upcoming 1,000th game because, of course, there was no media availability today. Oilers will then be in Vancouver tomorrow, and then obviously there's none before the game on Sunday. So talk to Nuge about that elusive 1,000th game. Also asked him some fun kind of rapid fire questions. Who do you think's the funniest teammate Nugent Hopkins has ever had? Got to remember, he's played at least one game with there's been 224 teammates in that time, including goalies and skaters. So that's pretty wild. So it is the Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can always get in the game. PlayAlberta.ca, where, of course, if you want odds boosts for the Gregor Show, you can get those. You can get casino, sports, lottery, instants, you name it, at PlayAlberta.ca. So, Oilers last night, Sorokin was good. And when he wasn't good, his goalposts, they got in the way. Evan Bouchard looked like it was a goal, didn't cross the line. 20 seconds left in the game. Oilers extra attacker on the ice. They set it up well. McDavid crossed the Draisaitl in his wheelhouse, rings it off the goalpost. And the far post, not even the near post, but the far post. And the Oilers end up losing 1-0. They played well. They really dominated that game in the second and third period. It wasn't even close. But Sorokin, what did I say all week, Connor Halley? That was the game that I was nervous for Connor McDavid's first streak, just because he's that good. And, man, it looked like he had a point. It looked like he went right down to the wire. He'd set up Draisaitl. That's the play they wanted. They got the play they wanted. And unfortunately for the Oilers, it didn't pan out. And now they got a loss. And you know what? Here's the thing, though. The Edmonton Oilers are in a situation now where we said it before, and Connor McDavid talked about, hey, you know what, January, it's a favorable schedule. They got a lot of home games. They gotta take advantage of it. And so far, they haven't. Like, look at the Oilers, and they lose on New Year's Eve on home ice, 6-2 to Boston. Then they lose 5-2 to Philly. They beat Nashville. They lose 4-3 to the Kings. They lose 1-0 to the Islanders. So in these 5 games since December 31st, they got one win. 1-3-1. It's not good. Now, they did win in Winnipeg and Chicago and got a point in Nashville, so that part's good. Right? They're 2-0-1 on the road, and it's not like, you know, they're awful in the month of January so far at 4-2-1. Right? It's a decent record, but that's what makes this weekend's games important. And the truth of the matter is, like, the Oilers, you don't know when an injury is going to occur, right? You just saw Tristan Jarry. Right? Jake Wallman's been out. You might miss some of your better players at certain games. So you got to take advantage when you get points. You just have to. So they're going to Vancouver tomorrow night, and the Canucks right now, you could call them the Canucks because they are struggling. They're brutal right now. They are brutal, but you can't just go in there and assume you're going to win, right? You can't. You got to go into Vancouver, and the Canucks, for whatever reason, they play the Oilers hard. It's not a game where the Oilers are just automatically going to win. So you got to be better, right? And we'll see, because the Canucks they're struggling, right? Like mightily. You know what? They've lost. They don't have a win yet in January, so they lost 4-1 Columbus. And this will be their first game after a 6-game road trip. It just like the Oilers, it's their 4th game in 6 days. So fatigue's kind of the same. Vancouver played in Montreal on Monday, Ottawa on Tuesday, Columbus on Wednesday, and now they come home to Vancouver. Meanwhile, the Oilers were in Chicago, Nashville, Edmonton, and Vancouver. Both teams in 4 different cities this week. So it's the exact same. And Vancouver actually played last Saturday in Toronto. So travel, games played, it's basically the same. But here's the Canucks month going backwards. So they lost recently to Columbus 4-1, lost to Ottawa 2-1, lost to Montreal 6-3, lost 5-0 in Toronto, lost 5-1 in Detroit, lost 5-3 in Buffalo, lost 3-2 at home to Boston, lost 4-3 at home to Seattle on the 2nd of January. And they lost 6-3 to Philadelphia. They haven't won a game since they beat Seattle in a shootout on the 29th, of December. Their last regulation win for Vancouver was December 19th. This team is floundering. So they gave up 6 to the Flyers. They gave up 3 to Seattle, 3 to Boston, 5 to Buffalo, 5 to Detroit, 5 to Toronto, 6 to Montreal, 2 to Ottawa. That was their best defensive game, and then 4 to Columbus. You should be able to score, and you should be able to win. And look at the goals they scored. In their last 5 games, the Canucks have managed a whopping 6 goals. I would expect Tristan Jarry to get the start tomorrow. And if I'm the Edmonton Oilers, I'm using the travel advantage. I'm taking Tristan Jarry and Calvin Pickard, and I'm keeping Connor Ingram at home in Edmonton. He's staying at the JW Marriott. He can relax. He can get a good night's sleep. He can watch the game, go to bed. Boom, he's rested. That's what you do. You have 3 goalies. They're not sending Ingram down. I said it earlier. It makes no sense to send Connor Ingram down. None. Look how he played last night. You're sending him down because you're like, well, you know what? Maybe Pickard will get claimed on waivers, but you don't even have to put him on waivers until after the Olympic break. You can carry 3 goalies, and I fully expect the Oilers to do that. So they would have to send Ingram down tomorrow, and I don't see it happening. I see zero reason to do it, nor should they do it. So there you go. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Connor Halley back at Sports 1440 studio. Conman, how you doing?
Hey, doing good. Jason, how about you?
I am. I'm doing pretty good.
How's it down at the John Reed?
You know what? Intermission just looks like happened here. The game going on currently. Well, there's 3 games going on, but the one just outside. I'm outside the Performance Arena, and you got the host St. Albert team, and they're trailing BWC Academy 1-0. Yale is leading St. George 1-0, and United Sherwood Park United cycle Flyers and Edge are tied 1-1 early in the second period, because of course there's the 3 in arenas here at Service Place in St. Albert, and it's jam packed. Man, I just saw Kurt Hill come by, Bob Torrey. Like, there's lots of GMs, as I mentioned. There's tons of scouts from the WHL. Like, these are, this is I still call it the Bantam draft, and all these players, all the second-year players. This is their opportunity. So the scouts watch them closely, and there's a lot of the good teams, man. Red Deer, I've been told, I think Red Deer might be the best team in the tournament. So now OHA Edmonton's really good, but that Red Deer team's pretty good. So I'm hoping to. They're playing Cons. I'll be sneaking a few previews because they're playing at 3:45. So during the commercial breaks, I'll check out a few of their some actions of their game. So we actually faced a Red Deer team. Now this is U15, but we faced a Red Deer team U13. They had 3 defensemen, 6-1. I'm like, what the hell are they feeding kids in Red Deer? It was unbelievable, huge, absolutely huge. So it's wild, but that's good. What did you make of the Oilers game last night?
I mean, you know what? Like, one shot away, right? If they find a way to connect on that power, or the dry settle play at the end, or the power play goal for Evan Bouchard, I think a lot of people probably have a different outlook on it. But they ran into a really good goalie, and they had their chances, just couldn't put it past them. Far from their worst game, or what we've seen from this Oilers team. Just disappointed they couldn't find a way to get that one in. And, Leon Draisaitl doesn't miss that one very often, especially with the McDavid point streak on the line. So, yeah, turn your attention. You got 2 big games coming up on the weekend, and you got to put it past you, because it does you no good to fret upon it after, I would say offensively a disappointing game for them.
So I'm in the press box, and usually I'm one of the last guys to come down. Lots of the writers will go down, and they'll watch the last 15 minutes, 18 minutes as they're typing in the media room. And obviously I don't need to do that. So plus even the days that I have file reports, I like to stay up there as long as I can. So it gets down to the final minute. I'm like, okay, I'll start heading down so you don't miss the right. And I'm walking, and you know how the press box goes. It kind of goes where my seat is. You go from center ice down around where the Oilers defend twice. So they'd be at the other end. So I'm standing at the end, and I'm looking, and as I'm walking, I'm like, oh, Draisaitl just scored. Like, I honestly thought he scored. And then I go around the corner to the television, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll watch the overtime downstairs. And I look, and I'm like, why are they facing? What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And I see the replay. I'm like, he missed? How the hell did he miss? Like, even McDavid's reaction. McDavid was like, what? what happened? Like, you saw his reaction. Like, how'd that not go in? It was kind of odd. Now, Sorokin was good. Connor Ingram, I thought, was pretty good on the shots he faced as well again. But, man, Sorokin, he's keeping that team in it. That man defense, the man-to-man defense that the Islanders play, the Edmonton made him pay. They had excellent puck. I thought Edmonton was great at moving the puck and not having turnovers. And when they can possess the puck, they're pretty dangerous. Lots of other games, they'd probably score more. The one thing that I did notice other than that was Matthew Schaefer. I spent a lot of time watching Schaefer, and man, does that guy move the puck. But you see him, and you can see just physically he's an 18-year-old kid. He's kind of slight still. Wait till this guy's 22. Like, he's already really good, but wait till he fills out and puts more meat on that frame. He's probably going to play at 215, and he skates phenomenally. Like, my goodness, the Islanders, they've got a real special player there. I don't know how many Oilers fans. I'm curious what your thoughts were, either watching him on TV or whoever was at the game. And did you go to you were like, I made sure I wanted to watch him when he was on. Now, he was out there a lot against McDavid. Did pretty well in some situations, but I was thoroughly impressed by how fleet of foot and how active he was in the offensive zone. There was lots of plays where he'd be at the blue line, down to the winger on the wall, and he's jumping right into the hole. Like, there is no holding back. And young defensemen should watch how he plays. That's how the game is now. And coaches, like, I still see some defensemen stand on the blue line. I'm like, what? Why? This is all about motion and movement now. You got your defenseman in the offensive zone. It's not like when I played as a kid. Your D-men basically were just stationary on the blue line cons. Now they want your D-men engaging in the offensive play all the time. Like, even look at the Oilers. Watch how many times now, if Darnell Nurse is playing with Emberson and Darnell Nurse is coming, he's slowly up the left side, Ty Emberson moves up to the middle of the ice, and he's used as the bumper guy. And now that your forwards, so sometimes they pass it to Emberson, he deflects it in, and your forwards are all going, right? Like, the whole game has changed to speed and puck movement all over the ice, and your defensemen got to be great skaters, and they've got to be active. And any coach out there who is restricting their defensemen, I don't think is doing a good job, and I don't think you're doing service to your young players.
No, I mean, you kind of remember that time where you might put a bigger guy with a big shot, maybe a slow mover on the back end, and just say, hey, kind of patrol the blue line, stay where you are. But you're taking away some really offensive opportunities and some threats and some ways to open things up, especially in the offensive end. I was going to ask you, now that you've seen him in person, any comparables that you think for Schaefer?
That's really hard, man. You know me, I'm not a big fan of comparables because there's not many big guys who move like him, right? Like, there's Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, right? Those are smaller guys. Trying to think. To me, he doesn't have the physical play, and Pietrangelo was never that mobile, but the reach. Like, I thought Ryan Suter, but way better skater and way more assertive in the offensive zone. But Ryan Suter was a very good defender who just didn't look like he was working very hard, and he was just a smooth skater, and he was always in the right position. So I look at his size, I might say that, but he's more offensive than Suter ever was.
Right? I think the key is you named a lot of good defensemen.
Oh God, he's really good. And like, I know some people say Nick Lidstrom. Well, Nick Lidstrom defended in a totally different way and even played a different style. Like, I never saw Nick Lidstrom that engaged in the offense. So, but that was 20 years ago. The game's different, right? So Schaefer is a very special player. We got a lot of text coming in. Hey, guys, what about Ray Bourque? Not a bad one, right? Like, Ray Bourque is a hell of a player. The thing about Ray Bourque was that guy could play forever, never seemed to get tired. And that's what impressed me the most about Schaefer. For the first period, it seemed like he was on the ice like every second shift. So that's what I like. Coming up on the show today, the commissioner of the NLL. The NLL is back in Edmonton for tonight. Brett Fraud will join us. Fruit, will join us. Richard Matvachuk, former NHLer, will join me here live at the John Reed. Jeff Patterson, Chelsea James will join us. MLB writer, of course, Bo Bichette. If you missed it, he is going to the Mets. The Mets struck out on Tucker, so they ended up going Bichette for much shorter term at 3 years. Craig Button will be by spec. Load on. We got Cam Tate and the 2-minute warning. Wanye Gretz as well. So busy Positive Friday. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, coming to you live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vimy and Donnan have to offer. Visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer select products from the best brands. Legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You know, this year I can't decide what to work on for my New Year's resolution. See my confidence, my appearance, or my general happiness.
Why not improve all three by finally addressing your hair loss? Hi, I'm Dr. Vancelia. Receding hairlines and bald spots can chip away at your self-image, make you look older, and feel unattractive. Let's discuss your options for regaining a full natural head of hair and make this the year you get your mojo back. Book a free first consultation today at drvancelia.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
When your driveway's covered in snow, Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital have you covered. Toro's gas or battery-powered single-stage power-clear snowblowers make it easy to clear right down to the concrete with incredible Toro-powered Propel technology. Face the next snow day without fear, thanks to Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital. Visit lawnmowerhospital.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
portions of this hour brought to you by Ewell. Get your power play amped up with Ewell, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. Ewell.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. Good afternoon. Positive Friday as the Oilers getting set to jet out to Vancouver to take on the Canucks tomorrow. I'm expecting Tristan Jarry to get the start. I would think the Oilers would use the three goalie to their advantage, travel Jarry and Pickard, and then you can have Connor Ingram stay in Edmonton. He can be the starter on Sunday. And you could probably even give Jarry the night off that day as well. And then, you know what? Jarry and Ingram were dressed last night. Then you can have Jarry and Pickard dressed tomorrow. Then you can have Pickard and Ingram dressed on Sunday with Ingram playing. I don't know when or if Calvin Pickard's going to play much in this three goalie system. He'll practice, and he's always been a very good teammate, right? But the truth of the matter is, Calvin Ingram's playing too good. You can't take him out of the lineup. I don't see how you can. And Tristan Jarry, obviously, they traded for him. He'll come back, and he'll be the guy. I don't think he's going to get a significant amounts of clear starts. Like, I don't think it's an obvious one that he's now the full-fledged starter the way Ingram is going. Like, I think it's going to be a pretty good competition between the two of them to see, how much playing time each one of them gets. So should be good. Now, coming up tonight in Edmonton, the NLL is back in Edmonton, the National Lacrosse League, which good to see. I know there's lots of lacrosse fans that are going. The Georgia Swarm will be here. They'll be the home team taking on the visiting Calgary Roughnecks as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. They are hosting the BCHL All-Star Weekend, so it's kind of good for scouts. You can come here to the John Reed, and then you're going to go over there, probably see some college players as well. It's the Prospects game tonight, and then tomorrow, Canada versus the world. You can get your tickets at sgsaints.ca. As Brett Fruit joins us, he is the commissioner of the National Lacrosse League. And Brett, Edmonton, of course, had a team for many years. I had the pleasure of calling the Rush games, the Rush. Their last game won the championship in 2015 and then relocated to Saskatchewan, where they've had boatloads of success, have another very good year this season. Welcome to the show, and kind of give me your thoughts and expectations on a game here tonight in Edmonton. And is this a little bit of a putting out the feelers for maybe a potential return of the NLL to Edmonton?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be on. We're excited. Just sorry for being a little late. Just ran back from the arena. We're putting up shot clocks. We're multitasking here at the league level today. It's nice. Good. Yeah, certainly feelers. I think for us, we want to put on a great event tonight. Great game. Hopefully, get some newcomers in way of fans in the building. And we're Edmonton, certainly a target market for us, both short and long term. So hopefully we put on a hell of a game tonight and keep people excited.
So when you look at expansion, or, because I think that would be the goal rather than relocation, when you expand, it's got to be at the right time when you've got enough quality players to do it. Do you feel the NLL is in a comfortable position now that there's more available players that are actually in the league, more quality players, and that, if you expanded and added another team, that you could easily fill that with quality players?
Class players is not actually a concern for us. There are just elite guys not making squads right now. The number of guys on practice squads that could go out and score goals is pretty widespread, and certainly the sport from a box level is growing in America. You look at our last several number one picks. So as I look over the next several years, we'll call it the funnel. the funnel of world-class athletes, not only wanting to be part of the NLL, but capable of playing in our league, is continuing to expand as certainly the sport. You've probably seen it even here in Alberta, right? Just in the last decade, you just look at that trajectory and growth. So yeah, volume isn't as big of a deal. When I think about expansion, what is really the most important too, and they kind of worked hand in hand, is the market and the demographic, the ability to be successful, and then the ownership group. And those have to work hand in hand. And over the last decade or so, if you miss on one of those two, that's where you end up with failures. And it's not just the NLL. That's sports in general.
Right. Yeah. And so strong ownership is the key. And I know in some markets you look at teams that have a NHL ownership, and they have an NLL team and they have an NHL team. Is that the ideal format? Just because it's hard, I would think, in markets like you can't go into an NHL city and play in the arena if the NHL team doesn't own it. It's just almost impossible financially to make it go. So are you targeting NHL cities, Brett, with NHL ownership? Is that would that be like the ideal client to have
it certainly makes things a lot easier. And if you look at our most successful franchises over time here, it has been kind of that combination. You look what they're doing in Buffalo, right? Same ownership, Pagulas with the Sabres and the Bandits. They're averaging 18,000 fans a game in Buffalo right now.
I know.
That's right. So it's great. You take advantage of the synergies on the commercial side. Obviously, corporate sponsorship, your ticketing, your promotion, your social media. So it's really a scale game, right? Human capital scale game. But then you also have your databases, and you can start leveraging kind of promotion across the masses. Vancouver is a great growth story for us over the last couple of years, and obviously owned by the Canucks and managed by them. Colorado with Mr. Kroenke, and the synergy with the Avalanche. So it's pretty thematic right there when you look at some of our success stories. That being said, it doesn't mean that we can't find success in some markets where maybe that isn't that synergy. We're selling out games in Halifax right now is an independent owner, Kurt Stiers, longtime owner in this league. He's fantastic and has taken that product up to Nova Scotia, and we're killing it up there. So I think utopia is you have a hockey organization involved. Like in Ottawa, the Senators are a strategic partner with our owners in Ottawa. So they are working together, and the Senators don't own our team, but are very much involved in our league. So there's definitely different business models that we can attack in different markets.
Yeah, you look at a team like Saskatchewan, right? Owned by the Blades, WHL team, and the Priestners, and they're top of the league again, and they've had good crowds for a long, long time. And so there's definitely some different ways to have success for sure. What right now do you find is the biggest challenge for your league?
That we're only in 14 cities, and we've got 7 in Canada, 7 in the US. And when you look at obviously major sports, which we all do, media rights and just we'll call it widespread fandom is just so vital to the business ecosystem. And for us, whether we're in Calgary or Halifax or Buffalo, we know when we're in those markets, we're going to have a good night, and we're going to have tens of thousands of people in the building, and we're going to have a lot of people localized watching it. But our people in Edmonton, our people in Winnipeg, our people in Minneapolis watching our games if they don't have a team. And you look at the successful sports, whether it's NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, when you've got teams in 30-something cities, it's a lot easier to get that widespread fandom and commercial success. So for us, we're just looking to grow our fans, the reason why we're here in Edmonton. Certainly, selfishly, would I love to be here with a team in the near future? Sure. But at the very least, I'd love to have a great event tonight and have, a lot of people in the building that say, damn, this is awesome. I'm going to start watching this. I'm going to consume this differently than I did yesterday because I loved my experience. So even if we don't have a team in Edmonton in a year or 2 years, I'm still going to be watching TSN Game of the Week on a Friday night or on NLL Plus and watching Georgia next week because I thought what Lyle Thompson did last night was unbelievable. So that's where we need to penetrate into new markets, even if we don't have teams.
Yeah, I know I know lots of people that are going to the game tonight. His kids are playing lacrosse. They obviously miss having lacrosse in Edmonton. It's been now 11 years, which is wild. As Brett Frood joins us, the commissioner of the National Lacrosse League. Georgia and Calgary are playing tonight down at Rogers Place. There's some tickets available, so I'd highly recommend if you want to see some great action. I had the pleasure of calling lacrosse games for a decade, and I can tell you just from a purely play-by-play perspective, it was the most fun I've had as a play-by-play guy. The game is quick, it's fast, it's tough. The transition is excellent. It actually makes the broadcaster look better because there's so much excitement going on. And growing the game is obviously a challenge for every sport now. There's lots of competition out there, Brett. And when you look at lacrosse specifically, like, does field lacrosse, have you found, does it translate, like, people or viewers of field lacrosse, are they coming to box lacrosse, or is it still, if I'm a field lacrosse fan, I'm a field lacrosse fan, and if I'm a box lacrosse fan, I'm a box lacrosse fan?
Yeah, it's evolving. Just the growth of the sport and the fact we're going to have a lacrosse in the Olympics in 28, and which is very much our box product on an outdoor field. It's sixes, right? So there has been definitely a focus for, especially when I think about American colleges, which we'll call it the epicenter of field lacrosse. And obviously PLL does a great job on that side. The differences are demographics are surprisingly very different. So you go to a PLL game, which is, at the pinnacle of the field side, and it is very much an endemic group. It's honestly, I grew up playing lacrosse, played in college. My kids are playing in college. They grew up playing field. That's who's going to the PLL games. Our market is I'd say very different. I spoke about the 18,000 people in Buffalo. Less than 10% of the people at those Buffalo games have ever touched a lacrosse stick. So really? Yeah. So we've got a tremendous crossover with hockey, which I'm sure comes to no surprise to you. And starting a pretty good synergy and crossover with basketball, because when you look at our product, there's a lot of synergies with those two. So yeah. So I'd say going from an outdoor game to an indoor game, very, very wildly different demographics. All that being said, I'd say just going back to your original question, and from a gameplay standpoint, those are different too. But what we're finding, and specifically from my standpoint, domiciled in the U.S. and coaching, I've been coaching for the last 20 years. A lot of our training and focus now is really getting after kind of the tight spaces and taking a box approach. And the expectation of college coaches now in America are, how much box experience do you have? Are you going to go during the summer and go play minor in Canada? Our last two number one draft picks are Americans, and I wouldn't be shocked if we go three straight with Joey Spallina very potentially being a number one pick in the NL next year. So there's I'd say the tremendous crossover, but I've got to kind of rise the tide mentality between field and box.
Now, are you expecting especially Canada and U.S. teams at the Olympics to mainly be NLL players?
Oh yeah, I'd say I would be shocked if not every single player on both of those rosters plays in our league. And certainly the Haudenosaunee, knock on wood, hopefully they're part of the Olympics. The same thing. So yeah, the Olympics will be very much NLL players having the opportunity, obviously, to represent their country and win arguably the most important gold medal they'll ever have an opportunity to chase.
Well, yeah, that's going to be huge growth and exposure for your league. So that's fantastic. Getting back to tonight's game, Brett, the Swarm in Calgary for fans who are coming down. it's smart to have Calgary as the road team because there's no chance Edmonton fans are going to cheer for them as the home team. So it's wise to have them here. What's your expectations tonight? And outside of Lyle Thompson, for fans that are going, who should they? Because they're probably going to be rooting for Georgia. So who are the Swarm guys they should be looking at?
Yeah, Lyle's a legend. And then they've got some young. They've done a really good job in the draft, so a young team, and then arguably one of the greatest goalies in the world who plays both field and box, and Brett Dobson. He's an absolute wall there. And then Calgary, same thing. Calgary's the youngest team in the league, and they're tough as nails. So I'm excited to watch your local Edmonton crowd interact with the Calgary team. And I think you're right. Georgia's going to become the home team pretty quickly. So I'm excited for it. Yeah, we're going to have really good crowd, still seats available. And I think I implore, hopefully everyone listening here, to make it a good family outing. You got time to get tickets, and it's 8:00 game, and you certainly won't be disappointed if you make it over.
For sure. Well, Brett, thanks for this continued success, and hopefully this is the start to a path of the NLL returning to Edmonton. I loved it when I got to call the games, and would love to see a team back in Edmonton soon. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Glad to be on here.
Awesome. It's Brett Frude, the commissioner of the National Lacrosse League. It's a Swarm and the Roughnecks tonight in Edmonton. If you haven't been to a lacrosse game, I highly, highly recommend going. You'll absolutely love it. When we return, Stanley Cup winner, Richard Matvichuk. We're going to talk some hockey, coaching, of course. Now at the John Reed tournament, we'll talk about his team, the state of hockey, the youngster, maybe get his thoughts on a defenseman like Matthew Schaefer. There's not a lot of Richard Matvichuk styles anymore, although maybe there should be. So we'll touch on that when we return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense. The BCHL All-Star Game is coming to the Thompson Family Arena in Spruce Grove. The league's best players will go head-to-head in 2 exciting games, January 16th and 17th. The BCHL College Prospects Game takes place on Friday, January 16th at 7 p.m., while the premier matchup will see Canada take on the world on Saturday, January 17th at 7:30 p.m. For ticket inquiries and excellent group ticket packages, go to tickets.sgsaints.ca.
Clear out the old and make room for new trends. The Brick is holding their store-wide inventory clearance event. Scratch and dent, last year's models, and overstock is up to 70% off. Score mattresses starting at just $99. Sofas starting at just $3.99. And dining chairs starting at just $28. And this Friday to Monday, check out incredible 4-day deals, like save the tax when you buy 2 or more eligible major appliances. Check out The Brick in Edmonton with 4 locations. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
When your driveway's covered in snow, Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital have you covered. Toro's gas or battery-powered single-stage power clear snowblowers make it easy to clear right down to the concrete with incredible Toro-powered Propel technology. Face the next snow day without fear thanks to Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital. Visit lawnmowerhospital.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
We continue on Positive Friday live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament here in Service Place. We are just outside the Performance Arena, and when we look at, we'll get Rich to move. There you go, buddy. You got to get your pretty face on camera. Awesome. There we go. Nice. We're going to go in the room now. Brought to you by Action Electrical, one of the most diversified electrical contractors in the province. 53 years of experience. You name it, testing, project, service, they will help you, and they'll get it done properly. ActionElectrical.net. Stanley Cup champion, longtime NHLer, the pride of Fort Saskatchewan. So back, man, you must have grown up hating St. Albert. So this is some fun rivalries for you to come back here.
Oh, we had some battles. There's no doubt about that. Fort Saskatchewan, Sherwood Park, St. Albert. It was all big rivalry. I think going back to those days that the game's changed a little bit since we played, but it's still a lot of fun.
So you obviously had an unbelievable NHL career. It's capped off, of course, with that Stanley Cup with the Dallas Stars, and then you've coached in the ECHL, coached in the WHL, and that's a real grind. And now you're coaching OHA in Colorado, kind of expanded from Canada, going up to Colorado. You guys had a crazy game here yesterday against St. Albert, because you had and I don't know if you knew it, but that's like the schools bring all their kids, and I don't know how many. There's like 1,500 kids, and it is basically just. It's like you're in Europe, because they just cheer the whole game.
Yeah, Courtney Hay and Brett Condrell, obviously the directors here of the John Reed, sent me an email and said, we have a special prize for you. And I said, well, what's that? And they said, you're going to play the school game. And I've been coming here for 5 years now, and I remember the school game. And you're right, the atmosphere in there was incredible. The city of St. Albert, to get all the kids there, it was a special time. Our kids from Colorado have never seen that.
Yeah.
So we first went out to warm up. I think most of them want to go back in the dressing room, but they played really well. St. Albert had a great team. Great thing for the fans is it went into overtime.
Yeah, it did. I saw.
It was exciting. The Edmonton, the All Kings mascot was here. It was it's a great event. And then, we couldn't be more proud to be here.
So you have a lot of these young players, Richard, and, they're entering now. It's I still call it the Bantam draft for any of our listeners. And there's probably more pressure now than I think there ever was. Kids are looking online. Everybody's following their stats. And I think at times that's a little detrimental. Like 13 and 14-year-olds don't need that pressure, but because it's available, they look at it all the time. As a coach, when you kind of walk these players through it, can't even remember if you were even drafted in the WHL draft or not. There's tons of players who weren't. Jerome McGinley, guy from St. Albert, pretty good player, Hall of Famer. It doesn't really matter, but at the time for some of those kids, it's like, oh my God, I didn't get drafted. My career's over. How do you manage that kind of psychological side as a coach?
Yeah, the expectations are through the roof, and unfortunately at times it's parent driven. Knowing that, hey, my kid has to get drafted or he doesn't have a chance. Back in my day, we just got listed. There was no such thing. Yeah. So, but the expectations coming to a tournament like this or in the Bantam draft year, it's, if you have a bad game, most of these kids think it's over. I can't play. I can't do this. Which is great for the game, but on the big side of things, the Western League does enough games and they have enough people employed that they look at everything. Schooling, grades, family, what kind of people they are. And let's be honest, every kid develops different.
Yes.
And at every different age. Like, just because you don't get drafted, you know what? It's our job as coaches and organizations to get you to a camp if we believe in you, and, kind of goes from there. So for me, the biggest thing I would look at is development is different for every kid. And just because you don't get drafted, the dream is not over. There's so many avenues, especially now with the change in all the rules with the NCAA and things like that, is, it's opened up a lot of eyes across the border.
Yeah.
As we know, is the CHL is the top gun now. And,
oh yeah.
It's one of those things where just keep going. End will be end is, if you don't get drafted, it's not a big deal. Obviously for those guys that do get drafted, it's a huge compliment to them. But my advice would be keep plugging here. Everybody develops different. especially at this age, knowing what puberty brings to all these boys at this age, kind of the ups and downs of minor hockey. And again, the additional pressure of just being here at the John Reed.
Yeah. And the truth of the matter is hockey's a late development sport. It still is. And thinking the game, and as a coach, and I was curious about this because I watched the game and it's faster than ever. There's no question. And I'm coaching, obviously not at any sort of, elite level. And, it's U13. They're still pretty young, but hockey sense, I find the game is quicker now today. I'm not sure like the hockey IQ is necessarily any better than guys in the 80s, 90s, and sometimes I wonder if it's a little bit less because it's so much go, 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 go that you forget about, there's a lot of individual stuff and skill development that doesn't work about, okay, well, where should I be when this happens at a certain place in the ice?
Yeah, and I've still got a little bit of old school in me. When we grew up, we had to learn how the game was played. And now we're so skill focused on the pep, the toe drags, the skill development stuff on a daily basis, where back in the day we focused on reading the game and reading where to be and how to be there. I think it was a combination of both is the perfect defenseman. And I know you have a defenseman you want to talk about, but you look at the World Juniors. I think the European teams played more of a structured game. They played hard, and with the Canadians and the Americans, they just wanted to go and win every game 9-6. And as we know, come playoff hockey, especially in the National Hockey League, that doesn't happen anymore.
Work. No, so it doesn't work. Richard Matvichuk joins us. Of course, he's coach of OHA Colorado. You guys are 1-1, so big game coming up to make it to the playoff round later today. So good luck at that. And I know you're a huge fan of the game, right? Obviously, you're coaching the WHL, so you probably have guys you coach with and against, and they've moved on to the next level. You're being a huge hockey fan. Matthew Schaefer was in town last night. I got to see him live, and he's very impressive on TV. But like what impressed me most about was his skating ability, his mobility, everything. But at both ends of the ice, for an 18-year-old Richard, like I don't know where you were playing at 18, but it wasn't in the NHL, right? And this guy's playing 20-plus minutes a night in the NHL, doing incredible stuff, maybe setting records for the most goals we've seen for a rookie defenseman. But it's wild just how he defends. Like you defend a lot different, but you still, to be a good defender, you really got to think.
Yeah. He still has some of that old school mentality in him. He's a special player. Don't get me wrong. He's one to look out for many, many years to come. I know when Cale Makar broke into the league, we can see what Cale, and we're fortunate enough to be in Colorado to see that team play all the time. And it's funny, you look at, a guy like Brett Burns that the Colorado Avalanche brought in. His kid actually plays for us. It's kind of funny. Yeah, great kid, great family. But you look at what Cale Makar is, and you look at, say, Brett Burns is, and you combine those two, then you've got a Schaefer. And
I like that.
He really does. Yeah. He does everything. And for an 18-year-old to be able to go back and not be scared to get pucks, like he goes back with a vengeance. And then you look at the old school, like he's not scared to get a little ugly and a little dirty in front of their net too.
Yeah. As you know, it's interesting when you have the young players as a coach, and you've coached at higher levels. So do you feel now like, is it fun in a way because you can still mold them a little bit more? Like, do you have more influence? Do you feel that the kids are, and not that they weren't sponges at the WHL, but they're even more spongy at this level where they're just like, oh my goodness, like what's Coach Richard going to teach me this time?
Yeah, sponges, and they're so visual. Let's be honest, these kids are on their phones and on their iPads and on their computers probably 90% of the day. So every opportunity that we get a chance to do video with them, it really sinks in. I think, from us, the old kick in the butt and we're going to bench you, those days are gone. These kids have to trust you and they have to know who you are for them to believe in you. And when they believe in you, they're going to play harder. So, I use my expertise from playing and coaching and everything we have a chance to, on the bench with me is David Clarkson, who played for a long time. And for us, we have an opportunity to get back to the kids. So anytime we can, sit down with a kid one-on-one or show them some video, that's our kind of our strengths.
You look at like how closely as you're coaching, do you still, like you mentioned the Avs, like do you follow the NHL pretty regularly?
Yeah, we do. We'll send our clips. We have 5 teams in Okanagan. I bet you our guys are cutting NHL games and sending clips to our guys via, the app that you use. And they use that as kind of your teaching tool because, as we know, kids, they don't want to see themselves play. They want to see the NHL guys play, and most kids want to go home and just watch highlights. We kind of break it down from there and watch, what is Colorado doing in the defensive zone? What are the Edmonton Oilers doing for their structure? Are they flying their wingers? Where's the centerman in their zone? And I think nowadays when you show them stuff, they really want to buy in and see that compared to watching themselves.
Interesting. So why do you feel They don't like watching themselves because they don't want to see themselves making mistakes.
It's the negative thing. Yeah. And as we know, some of these kids nowadays are pretty sensitive, and that's one of the hurdles. I think that's just society. You know, for us, we always say that these poor kids with social media and things are growing up in a tough world. And we truly believe that, knowing, you know, thank God I didn't have a cell phone when I was a kid.
Oh, God.
Because you never know what would be out now. But, you know, again, they're so visual, and the pressure amongst them, you know, from family related, scouts related, being at the John Reed, it's there's a lot for these young, you know, boys and girls, but it's our opportunity to give them the best chance to succeed.
You come up to a tournament like this, the John Reed. It's been around for, you know, for such a long time. I think it might have even been around when you played, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So did you play in it? I never played it. I wasn't good enough. I was a goalie until I was 13. Get out of here.
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So.
That's why you're such a good shot blocker. Who knows? You weren't scared.
Yeah, no.
Well, you definitely weren't scared of the puck if you're a goalie.
I don't know what I did. I used to block all the shots with less gear. So it was one of those crazy things.
Yeah. Oh, dude. So. Yeah, you didn't have the Ludwig's type knee pads,
God,
did you?
No, that's crazy. But no, you know, you come to a tournament like this, and you know what Courtney Hay and what Brett Condra have done in the city of Alberta. It's special. It really is. And you look at the school, you know, from the school side, the CSHL here. You know, I think they have 10 of the 16 teams are here this year, and you know, the zone teams such as St. Albert, such as Sherwood Park, such as Red Deer. It's a special place, and when the kids walk in here, it's special. You know, they get those goosebumps, and to be quite honest, so do I. Yeah. And it's a great opportunity. Knowing the selection process to get here, it's really good.
Yeah, it is a big deal for sure for those kids. And, you know, at this level, you have to get exposed every now and then to like a bigger event, because I'm sure as a coach, you can see some kids, you're like, man, like their nerves are getting the best of them, right? Have you learned how to help kids just, you know, because you have to embrace the nerves. You can't pretend they're not there. They're all going to be, because you're in the Stanley Cup final. You played there. I'm sure you're like, oh my God, I can't sleep the night before the game, right? And I'm a 15, 20, whatever year, 12-year veteran it was at the time. So how do you help kids kind of embrace and handle their emotions?
Yeah, it's tough. It really is, because the highs and lows of this game. And you know, we had that emotional roller coaster against St. Albert, and then we went out last night, and it was like we lost everything that we did in that game. So it's an emotional thing. Yeah. And the great thing about our game is you have to play it one game at a time, one period at a time, and one shift at a time. And you can't ever look back, and you're not getting that shift back. You know, you're not getting that period back. So look forward, be positive, do the right things, and more importantly, believe in yourself.
That, I think, is the biggest one. And hey, you played in the NHL, and I'm sure you had teammates. Even the best players in the world, at times, it's obviously short-lived, they'll question themselves.
Yeah.
Right? That's, and I don't know how coaches can help in that, but to me, that's, if there was a coach that knew the delivery, because every player is different, and how you could minimize when a play, because everybody's going to slump at some point, but it's can I have the slump last a game or two rather than 3 weeks?
Yeah, and you know, I was fortunate. I believe I learned from the best. And when I talk about the best, I talk about guys like Bob Gainey and Kim Hitchcock, and you know, names like that, and Lou Lamorello, where they believed in you and they knew you were going to make mistakes. But more importantly, they knew you on the ice, but more importantly, they knew you off the ice.
Right.
They knew what motivated you. You know, everybody was different. You know, I was completely different from what Darian Hatcher was. I was the guy I wanted to be yelled at, where Darian was the other one. He's like, hey, I need some encouraging here. So every kid is different. And as a coach now, and especially now with these kids, you have to get to know them on what pushes that right button.
Now, that's interesting when you say I wanted to be yelled at, as Richard Matvichuk joined us. What was it about that, like, did you get fired up? Did you get mad at, like, Hitch, I'm going to shove it up and I'll show you? Or what was it about the getting yelled at that worked for you?
I don't know. I was just one of those guys, and I think it goes back to, you know, what these kids earn and what they need now is, you know, we're honest with them. Okay. You know, we tell them the truth. We tell them what you're doing right, and more importantly, what you're doing wrong. And, you know, kind of going around the edges, or, you know, just kind of being the nice guy all the time doesn't work. They have to know. And, you know, not only are we parents, we're mentors to these kids, and we have to give them the best opportunity. And for us as an organization, and it goes back to the, you know, we use the word culture a lot. You know, with Andy Oakes and OHA and Dixon Ward, when, you know, they branched down to Colorado, and I went down there with Brooke Wilfley and David Clarkson, we knew that our standard was going to be all about culture. And we've been able to build this, you know, an organization that can work through the highs and the lows. And again, you're not going to have a great day every day, but can you be a better person? And when you're a better person, we feel you're a better hockey player, you're really good in school, and you're going to move on to be something in life.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. All right, one last one. You mentioned the Avs, you see them lots. So if you're defending Nathan McKinnon And Marty Natchez, because Marty Natchez is underrated how fast that guy is.
Unbelievable.
Right? How would you defend those two? Or how would you strategize as a team to defend them?
Wow. The critical rules of defenseman is always try to stay between yourself and your opposition in the net. With those two, God, I'd just sit in front and just hope for the best. There's no sense chasing them around the ice because you're not going to get there. And it was funny when Larry Robinson coached us in New Jersey, and I think it was Sidney Crosby was as a rookie. And I went out to try to chase Sidney, and he beat me back to my net. And Larry looked at me and says, "Why are you going all the way out there when he has to come to the front of the net to score anyway?" So as much as we want to be in the right spot, the game has changed, obviously, with the pace and the skill of what these players can bring. Playing against the Avs right now, I really wouldn't know what to do. Everybody says the best offense is defense and the best defense is offense, but trying to get the puck away from them, and you talk about Natchez, you talk about McKinnon, you talk about McCarr, Taves, like the lineup is something else. And I'll be honest with you, it's fun to watch.
Oh, God, yeah. And like when Edmonton and Colorado play, that is like you got McDavid on the ice and Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard and McCarr and McKinnon. And it's just like that is much-watch TV for me.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it just goes to show what the game has brought. And, there's no easy game in the NHL. There's no easy game in the American League. Or even some real high-end talent. But what I really love about the teams that are here is they're structured, and they're trying to play the right way.
Awesome. Well, Richard, thanks so much for spending some time with us. Good luck. I know you guys got a game here coming up very soon, so good luck to that, and hopefully get to the playoff round.
Well, thanks for having me, Jason.
Awesome. That's Richard Matt, winner with the Dallas Stars here with OHA Colorado. We'll take a sports update with Connor Halley, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to this is the Sports 1440 update.
Light night in the NHL, 5 games on the schedule, including the Red Wings and the Sharks. Panthers in Carolina, Blues host Lightning, Preds up against the Avs, and the Kings taking on the Ducks in the association. Toronto Raptors will host the Clippers just after 5:30. We've also got the Cavs and the Sixers, Nets up against the Bulls, Timberwolves in Houston, and the Kings meeting the Wizards. Bo Bichette's time with the Toronto Blue Jays has come to an end, as reports say the 27-year-old shortstop signed a 3-year contract with the New York Mets worth $126 million, including opt-outs after the first 2 seasons. In the WHL, Oil Kings in Medicine Hat taking on the Tigers at 7. In the AJ, 4 games, including Drayton Valley and Whiteford Kodiaks taking on the Bobcats. PWHL has New York hosting Minnesota at 5. Down at the Drake this weekend, the Golden Bears hosting Regina, 7 p.m. both nights. Pandas on the road in Regina tonight and tomorrow. And at the Saville Center, you've got Bears and Pandas hosting Manitoba in basketball. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Juan Yeager of Oilers Nation, Canucks reporter Jeff Patterson, and we'll talk some Major League Baseball with Chelsea James of the Washington Post. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium 1-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 1-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit, no credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Saturday nights were made for Oil Kings Hockey and Ice District. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat. Tomorrow night, your Edmonton Oil Kings face the Tri-City Americans at Rogers Place for the first time in 2 seasons. The Oil Kings will be wearing a specialty fan-designed jersey that'll be auctioned and raffled off with proceeds going to charity. Plus, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The Edmonton Oil Kings get a rare visit from the Tri-City Americans. 7 p.m. tomorrow. Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic.
Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2.
Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game.
Text 833-401-1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Awesome. Friday continues on. Welcome back to the show. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Friday. Big plans for the weekend. Lots going on. NFL football. You've got the NLL tonight as the Swarm in town with the Roughnecks for lacrosse fans. We're going to that. You got the Oil Kings tomorrow. You have the Oilers in Vancouver tomorrow. Then they're at home on Sunday night. It'll be Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' 1,000th NHL game. And you know what? Do you want to go? Hey, buddy, those tickets are hard to come by. Game 1,000 for the Nuge. It's a 6 o'clock start. If you want to go, you know what? It's grad season, so we're going to auction off another pair of seats. Lower bowl for the Oilers. These are actually my seats, attacking twice because I'm not going to the game on Sunday because we got to practice, oddly enough. But anyway, so if you want to go, you want to help out the Gregor Foundation, you can. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Pair of seats to see the Nuge ceremony. 1,000 games. Never happened before in Oilers history that a player's first 1,000 games in the NHL came as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. Kevin Lowe had played 966 before he left. Then he did come back and play another 71 over 2 seasons with the Oilers in 97 and 98. But the Nuge will be at 1,000. Next season, early in the year, he's going to break Kevin Lowe's franchise mark of 1,037. So it's a big deal. So if you want to go to the game, you can text in your bids, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Remember, it's a 6 o'clock start on Sunday as we get to the Oil Report, brought to you by Go Auto. Over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. They got 31 different types of brand new vehicles and 76 locations for you to shop at. Find all the cars that you need or want or interested in at goauto.ca. And Bill opens it up at 500 Bones to see the Nuge game 1,000 tomorrow. Attaboy, Bill. There's a 833-401-1440. We'll end this at 5 o'clock today. So we'll do it just for a few hours. So Bill has it at 500. So we welcome in Wanya Gretz. Wanya, how you doing?
This is crazy, Gregor. All these milestones these Oilers are passing, starting to make a guy feel old. The Nuge 1,000 games, Draisaitl. I'm like looking at footage of him and Connor early on. I'm like, that's noticeably a long time ago now. What is happening?
It is weird when you voice it that way. Yeah, like Nugent Hopkins came in, of course, in 2011, 2012. 224 different teammates for Nugent Hopkins in that span. 24 different goalies have laced it up, including the 4 that he played with this season in Skinner, Pickard, Jari, and Ingram. And like Nugent Hopkins' career, just, not a superstar player. Obviously, when you've got guys like McDavid and Draisaitl, it probably gets overlooked, but he's had a really solid career.
Solid career, and he's done everything he could ask of an Edmonton Oiler. A friend of mine's wife does work with the Nuge's wife, Mrs. Nuge, and she said that they come in and they're just the nicest people you'd ever care to meet, and they take time to say hello to everybody, patients and staff alike, and like every time the Nuges come in, everybody leaves floating on a cloud because they're such nice people. And it's so nice to see that the first 1,000 games as an Oiler, that's shocking that he's the first to do it. It's good to see you go to such a great guy.
Yeah, I'm curious. Obviously, they always have something special. He'll get the silver stick on Sunday night, and his teammates will do something. I have an interview coming up with Ryan because him and I sat down yesterday to talk about Game 1000. I had a few rapid fire questions asking him who's his funniest teammate, and I also kind of caught him off guard because I did ask him. I'm like, which one of your teammates was most surprised in your fighting prowess? And he had a really good answer. So
interesting.
I think people will like that coming up in about 50 minutes here on Sports 1440. Oilers lose last night, and you know what? I said it before the game, like Sorokin, that's a concern, and he was a concern yesterday. He was outstanding.
I haven't seen the Oilers get goalied that hard in quite some time. A concern is the right way to put it. He's a very good goalie. But I thought that Ingram played well, too. I wouldn't fault him in any way.
Oh, no, Ingram's been fine. That's why he's not going down. A lot of people are like, oh, they got to send him down. I can tell you, 0 chance Connor Ingram is going to the minors. And it would have to be tomorrow. He won't be tomorrow. He'll probably be sleeping in his hotel bed at the JW Marriott tomorrow. He's still staying there. I actually talked to Ingram about it yesterday. He says, I don't like hotel life. The only thing is he misses his dogs because he's not allowed his 2 dogs in the hotel. So, I do think at some point maybe the team says, hey, get yourself a place. That might be coming here. I would think in the next few weeks that he'll get a place and he can have his dogs. But Connor Ingram had another really solid performance last night.
What is your outlook for Connor Ingram? What do you think is a reasonable expectation? He came in a bit of a wild card, having been kind of out of the game at the NHL level. What would you think is a reasonable outlook for Oilers fans to put on him?
Well, just be sound. Continue to be a solid goalie. He doesn't have to he doesn't have to be Sorokin, right? Sorokin's really good. Connor Ingram, just if he continues to play how he's played in all of his starts, I know everyone's like, but the Boston one. Do you say that about, wow, you know what? Hey, Leon Draisaitl's played really well, but this game, it's kind of stupid. Connor Ingram has played very well this season. Full stop. Very well. And that's what you want, is for him, I think, to push and challenge Tristan Jarry for starts. And I'm very interested to see kind of when both are healthy and they're here consistently, what's the rotation going to be, starter to backup? Is it going to be 2-1? Is it going to be 50-50? Is it going to be 45-55? What's it going to be? And then does that mean that should continue? Because if it's close to a 50-50 split or even 60-40, then when you get into the playoffs, you shouldn't just go 100% with one goalie. I wouldn't do that because that's not what got me to the playoffs.
When does the NHL change to this new 3 goalies traveling with the team system?
Well, it's next year, but the one goalie's not on the roster. He's just a practice goalie, basically, right?
So in a situation like that, Cal Pickard can stay with the team. He doesn't have to necessarily be sent down.
No. Different.
No.
That goalie's not going to be on your roster. It's going to be a goalie who he's not making an NHL salary, right? Because he's not playing in games. I don't know what I can't remember what it was. Maybe 150. Still really good money. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be. Some guys are going to have. I would think it's guys who maybe were out of the East Coast League or maybe coming out of CIS. Still quality goalies, right? Because you're going to have to face NHL shots every day in practice. And so, the shooters aren't going to want to go against, Jason Gregor or Wanye Gretz, some slugs who just know how to put on the plaids. But it's not going to be like the third string goalie in your organization.
I understand. Because I think Cal Pickard has done everything that anyone could ever have asked of him as an Oilers goalie too, right? Especially deep in the playoffs. It'd be a shame to see him have to leave. But when Jari returns, there is going to be some hard decisions.
Well, see, I don't think so. I think here's what happened. Well, Jari's already returned, so he's here. He's going to play tomorrow night in Vancouver.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Oilers are just going to carry 3 goalies until they come out of the Olympic break because Adam Henrique is on LTIR. He's not scheduled to come off of LTIR until after the All-Star break. And the Oilers, then the only challenge of Henrique will be salary cap. You could, if you wanted to, carry 3 goalies on your roster. Seattle was doing it earlier in the year. Montreal's doing it now. Now, the difference in Montreal is they got a goalie that if they wanted to send him down, it doesn't require waivers. Edmonton's goalies, as of Sunday, would all require waivers, and the one guy that you would then expose would be Calvin Pickard, but I don't think they'll do it until they have to. So it's no big rush. I think people are out thinking they've got 40 days to figure out what to do with their third string goalie, and by then there could be an injury. Right? There's lots that can happen between now and then. So I don't think Edmonton's in any rush to move their goalie because they don't have to. Time's on their side. So just carry 3 goalies and they'll go with 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, and 3 goalies for the time being.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. So you don't have to outthink themselves. They don't have to overthink it. Is there a risk in 40 days if everybody's healthy and now Adam Reed comes off that you might have to expose Calvin Pickard then? Yes, but that's a risk you'll take then. By then, maybe Philadelphia will have figured out their goalie problems, right? Or by then, if they don't get Dan Vladar back, Philadelphia will be out of the playoff race, so they won't be interested in picking up Calvin Pickard at that point, right? And I went through the list of other teams. There's not a lot of other teams that really need a third-string goalie, or a backup goalie, because if you claim Pickard on waivers, it's because you're going to keep him on your NHL roster. So we'll see. But it all changes if a goalie gets hurt the day before the game or the day before or the night of that Pickard's put on waivers. Well, then the next morning they can put a claim in. So that's why there's no way to predict exactly what will happen. You can play the odds. And so the odds are right now, just keep Calvin Pickard on your roster with Ingram and Jari. And, it's unfortunate for Calvin because he's probably not going to get to play. The Oilers after this weekend, they don't have any back-to-back games until February 4th or 3rd and 4th with Toronto and Calgary. So, you can play Jari tomorrow night. You can play Ingram on Sunday. Then you'll play Jari a few games. Then you'll probably play Ingram. The only unfortunate part for Pickard is he's probably not going to get into any action anytime soon.
I'm really excited for a 4th Oiler goalie in the system, and that's Connor Ingram. And our colleague Lowtide really broke down the performance he's been putting on in the ECHL, and having a former Moose Jaw Warrior on fire like that. What do you think's going on with him down there? That seems like he's off to an incredibly good start.
Well, it's 5 games, super small sample size, but Connor Unger has done everything you could ask for him this year. So he had to start out in the ECHL, and he didn't even have a team. He played 5 games in Greensboro, I think, and then it was 2 games with the Oilers farm team, and then 4 games in another team. So he played 11 games in the ECHL with 3 different teams, but his save percentage was virtually identical, 944, 944, 945 with the 3 teams. Then he's gone down to the American League, and all he's done there is actually put up a better save percentage at 959 and a 1.37 goals against average. So does that mean he's ready to push to be the number 3? Probably a little bit early for that, but it is showing the Oilers that, hey, maybe we got a younger goalie in the organization that there's obviously a reason they signed him, but, and he was hurt in training camp, so he didn't get to play. So, maybe they got something here, but you never know. It's super early. He's only played a combined, 16 games of pro hockey this year, but in every game that he's played, it's been pretty good. So
it's exciting to see a 950 save percentage in any league. That makes me scratch my head and wonder when I read it.
Yes, it's true. You think, could it translate? I would say realistically, what it does mean is a guy like Matt Tompkins, now I got to look at Tompkins get a 1 or 2 year deal. I can't remember that, but if it was only a 1 year deal, well, then it's probably, going to be challenging for him to be back in Bakersfield next season. And I'm looking, no, Tompkins did sign a 2 year deal. So that's Yeah, Connor Unger doesn't have a contract next year. So I would think what might happen for them is, I guess, because they're going to want one of Nathaniel Day or Samuel Johnson to play in the American League next year, maybe with Unger, and then Matt Tompkins is older, and so maybe you have to find a home for him. That's a long ways down the road, but usually you don't want your two youngest goalies both playing 2 consecutive seasons in the ECHL. One of them is going to have to. That's just one of Nathaniel Day or Samuel Johnson will likely be back in the ECHL next year because there's just not enough room for all the goalies. That's what's hard about that position. That's why I think it takes a little bit longer in development, because you just don't get the amount of reps because, you're only playing half the games at most, right? Well, not at most, but if you got 2 young goalies in an organization, that's what you're doing, right? And so if you're the starting goalie, you might get, 75% of the reps of what your defensemen and forwards get.
Well, anytime Low Tide gets excited about something, Gregor, you know how I get, because he told me once Martin Marinson's the future, and I'm still waiting.
Yeah. Well, hey, he made the Olympic team. So
that is true. Actually, he hasn't been. I was ready for him to win the everything as an Oiler. I was ready for it, but it's so hard to say when these guys are coming up. But look forward to seeing Connor Unger continue to develop. It's amazing to see somebody do that kind of numbers on 3 ECHL teams in one season.
Lastly, I want to go back to Nugent Hopkins, and obviously, you started Oilers Nation because of hating the Ryan Smith trade, but as Ryan Nugent Hopkins, is he maybe the most popular Oiler in Oilers Nation history?
Ooh, that's interesting. I think on sheer moving the needle for traffic, it's going to be Captain Connor, right? Anytime, like the amount of Connor McDavid news we've served over the years is crazy, and I would put Leon very close behind 1B. But in terms of a folk hero like Ryan Smith, I would argue that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is one of the most popular Oilers of all time, right? I mean, I don't know if you saw online today, but we got sent a photo that they'd made of him, and it was autographed. And he'd written on the photo, "They kept me," and then his autograph, right?
Yeah.
Like, Keep Nuge Forever is an all-time Oilers Nation motto and meme, and the fact that it actually worked out is incredible. It's incredible to think how long ago Taylor Hall and Jordan Everly were here with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and how he's still here and somehow hasn't aged a day.
Yeah, no, he doesn't age. It's very well. So he's coming up at 4:00 today on the show. I think an interview Oiler fans will enjoy a little bit. Just talking about, he's pretty open about, the tough times in Edmonton for sure, but obviously the good times now, and being a little bit of a big brother in a way to guys like McDavid. And because the one thing I sense from Draisaitl and McDavid and Nurse is there's a real heavy respect for Nugent Hopkins because he was here before them, and just how he plays and he thinks the game, and he can play a defensive role, he can play an offensive role. He's a little bit of jack of all trades. He's maybe not great at one thing, but he's very good at a lot of things. And you can tell he's highly respected from those guys. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where, the reception obviously will be massive for Nugent Hopkins. But the thing that's shocking to me is Nugent Hopkins is on pace to finish his career top 100 points of all time, which is
what?
Yes, of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
That's kind of wild to me. For sure.
On a lot of bad teams.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. His first 7-8 years of his career weren't exactly spectacular by any stretch. This is year 15 for Nugent Hopkins. Crazy. Have a good one, Wanye. We'll talk to you next week.
Take care.
When we come back, we will joined by Jeff Patterson. The Canucks don't have a win yet in 2026. Oilers hope to continue that. The Canucks, you know what? Hey, it's pain, but it's probably good pain in the long run. They need a top 3 pick, preferably the number 1 overall pick. They've never had it as an organization. They need to kind of retool their team. But how many guys are they going to move out? Kiefer Sherford for sure. I think Evander Kane, Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson. Like, how deep of a rebuild are they going to go? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Happy New Year. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for everything in 2025. With your help and your support, we fed almost 500 families. We donated to various charities in the Edmonton area, and we're going to do it again in 2026. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant, nestled in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor Summit's exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails, all served in a stylish, modern atmosphere. For a casual meal or a special night on the town, Summit Restaurant offers a straightforward yet refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Visit Summit Restaurant tonight.
The new double cheesy melt at McDonald's. We're talking 2 juicy, mouth-watering 100% Canadian beef patties, 2 slices of cheesy goodness, with even more melty, cheesy sauce on top. Topped with pickles, then crispy and grilled onions. The way it all comes together, you don't just eat it, you melt into it. The double cheesy melt, only at McDonald's. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Wilhock beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Wilhock beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhock beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
326. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Friday. Of course, a busy weekend in sports, man. You got NLL action tonight at Rogers Place. If you're a lacrosse fan or not a lacrosse fan, if you're looking for entertainment, go to that game. Trust me. I highly doubt you won't be entertained. NLL is fantastic, so you can check it out. Also, you've got the Oil Kings tomorrow. Big wrestling match. Is Eddie going to body slam Karius? That's what I want to know. Connor Halley. Is he going to body slam the old man tomorrow?
Well, maybe. I was just looking at it here. We're getting kind of a little smack talk thrown our way from Rich King. He said, bring the whole Sports 1440 team of nerds. It doesn't matter. No one can beat us. So I don't know.
Good, just wait. Who?
Yeah, exactly. Rich King.
Who? Exactly.
Why don't we bring the whole lineup? Why don't we? Does he know how deep our bench is? How many former athletes we have?
Oh God, that would be well, like I said, Schmieder. We'd have to get Schmieder. Couldn't go shirtless; it'd be too white, right? Like people would have to wear shades. So we'd have to get him. We'd have to get him like a top on, and the Duke would probably want to go out there in super tight jeans. That's what would be interesting. LT might scare them just with his hair. Like LT's really growing out his hair. I don't know if people notice that, but he's really going with the flow right now. It's quite awesome. So I know like Declan's effort would be really good. I have no idea about his technique, but he'd be a try hard for sure. Right. I think there's no doubt about that.
I feel
he'd want to try to see if he could like Jimmy Superfly Snuka someone off the top ropes.
That's probably all we would have is effort, I think. I don't know how any of our technique would be.
Yeah. No.
But I'm just saying, hey, Rich, like if we rush 12 guys down into the ring, that's tough for him.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm just curious to see what Eddie's got going on. And do they have an ambulance on site for Carius? That's my only concern. Because that is, that can get too excited. So that'll be a lot of fun tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. And then, of course, you got Nugent Hopkins game 1,000 on Sunday night. Bill has currently our top bid on the tickets to go to the Nuge game at 500 bones. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We're going to get around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's, and the $5 value meal is here right now. The McDouble, maybe you want to get the McMuffin, but get it now only at McDonald's. I like it. Jeff Patterson from Canucks Army and Rink Wide in Vancouver joins us. And Jeff, I know this might sound odd, but 2026 is going exactly how the Canucks should want it to go. They don't have a win yet. Now, eventually, I know you want to get a win, and that becomes draining. But they want to be the team with the best odds to get into the draft lottery. Like where the season's gone right now, there's no reason to suddenly start winning. It makes no sense. I'm not even sure they could if they wanted to. But how quickly do you think we're going to see trades of players? And how deep is this going to go? Like, I think we can all agree that Kiefer Sherwood's going to go and probably Evander Kane. But Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, like how deep do you think this possibly could go?
Look out, Oilers. The tank is coming for you. You're up next on Saturday night. It's 9 straight losses and counting. It's bad. They just came off a 6-game road trip where they went over, got outscored 27-9. And so, look, we've all been waiting for the bottom to fall out. It was late November when Jim Rutherford put out a memo to his fellow managers around the NHL, said they were open for business. And 2 weeks later, Quinn Hughes was dealt, but that's the only trade that they've made to this point. And so all of those guys that you just mentioned, they're still here. They're all playing, and they're all doing a whole lot of losing. So your guess is as good as mine on timing. I mean, I think we've all thought that if you're truly in this thing to tank, and boy, they look like they've got both hands on the wheel of the tank now, then start peeling some of these players off. Now, it takes 2 to tangle, obviously, and they haven't had the offers they're looking for on Kiefer Sherwood. They want to make sure they get that one right. He is their best trade chip now that they've moved off Quinn Hughes. He's hurt right now, which is sort of the Canuck way on top of everything else. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything that is going to prevent him from being moved or that would have other teams take a second look at Kiefer Sherwood. But he is out of the lineup and he won't play on Saturday night. So, yeah, Kiefer Sherwood at the top of the list. There's still questions about can they move Evander Kane, who has just underwhelmed from day one here as a Vancouver Canuck. And then you
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, no. Then you get to the guys that have term. And, Jim Rutherford this week was talking to anybody that had a notepad, was popping up in interviews all over the place and basically saying they are completely open for business. And when you're 32nd and falling like a stone, there can't be any untouchables. If there's a team out there that truly is interested in Elias Pettersson, despite his numbers and what's left on his contract, you got to listen. And you probably don't win that trade, but maybe you get out from under that contract. And if you are truly rebuilding, and they have used that word a lot now in the last week, then I think you have to be listening to any and all offers. Doesn't mean you take them all, but I do think you have to be open for business, and I think they are.
Part of tanking, and I remember when the Oilers the first year when they got Taylor Hall in 2010, they didn't plan on it, but injuries to Surrey and Horkoff and Habby Boulin led them down there. And I look at Vancouver, and Demko gets hurt. They trade Hughes, and then Demko gets hurt, and I'm like, This was perfect because you can never ask players not to try, right? You're never going to have your coach say, hey, you know what? Why don't you encourage our guys to take the night off? That's never how it is. But sometimes in order to be bad, Jeff, that first time around, you need a little bit of help sometimes by having key guys injured. And that you mentioned Kiefer Sherwood. Even though it's only short term, he misses a few games. It makes it hard because right now the Canucks, I look at their games, they can't score. They got 6 goals in the last 5 games, and they can't defend. They're giving up 4 or 5 goals every night. Like it right now, this is like the perfect way to be a bad team.
Yeah, but to your initial point, the whole concept of this season was win for Quinn to prove to Quinn Hughes that this is a place that he should want to be and should want to be long-term and would consider re-signing in the summer. So they went into this season with full designs on trying to be a good hockey club. You know, rebuilding teams don't trade for Evander Kane. Rebuilding teams don't re-up with Thatcher Demko and Connor Garland a year before they had to. And that's what they did on July 1st last year. You know, rebuilding teams don't circle back on Brock Besser and say, oh yeah, you know, we didn't really like the way your season finished and we're not sure that we want you here, but there aren't any better options in free agency, so come on back. And then, you know, again, they tried to win. Look, at the 20-game mark, they were 9-2. They had 20 points through 20 games this season. Like, the tank wasn't on then. So for Jim Rutherford recently here, there's been a fair bit of revisionist history that, oh, this has been 2 and 3 years in the making, that the rebuild started a while ago. Sorry, you can't sell that in a savvy market like Vancouver. They've been trying to win and have just been really bad at it. And to the point that Rick Tocchet wanted out, right? I mean, they offered Rick Tocchet the world, and he was like, no, I'm going to go chase a better offer in Philadelphia. And obviously, we learned soon after that Quinn Hughes had planted the seeds of discontent here as well, and that he never intended to re-sign with the Vancouver Canucks. So that's sort of the backstory. Then you get some injuries, and obviously Thatcher Demko out for a second time this season, and that makes the re-signing even that much more curious because they probably should have waited till midseason to see if this guy could stay healthy. And the answer again is no. Turned 30 in December. You know, you just wonder if he's ever going to be able to stay healthy. He can get healthy, but he can't seem to stay healthy. So, yeah, I mean, this is where they are now. And like Winnipeg with its win last night, 6 points clear of the Canucks. Canucks are starting to separate themselves in this battle for the best lottery odds. Of course, the Canucks have never had any luck in the lottery. That's another element of this story, but they are juicing their odds with every conceivable game that goes by here. And also, I think, to your point, the players are going to play. So if management truly wants to tear this down, then start stripping away some of those veterans, replace them with guys that are in the farm that aren't at that level. That's how organizations go about tanking, by dressing lineups that just don't stand a chance against most opponents. And that's where the Canucks are these days.
So who are we going to see tomorrow night? The Oilers come to town. Them and Vancouver have had the exact same schedule this week. It's their 4th game in 6 days. There'll be 4 games in 6 different cities for both teams. So fatigue will probably be even. The Oilers got shut out despite playing pretty well against the Islanders, so they might be a little grumpy. You mentioned Sherwood's out. Who do you see getting the McDavid assignment tomorrow night in Vancouver?
Oh boy. Probably Elias Pettersson, because they've got him, and then they have a collection of non-NHL caliber setters. David Camp couldn't make the Toronto Maple Leafs. Canucks picked him up off the scrap heap, and they basically played him as the second line center all season. The guy's got 3 points. I can't recall a player that in the National Hockey League on a regular basis crosses the offensive blue line and just seems to switch off any sort of offensive instincts. Like he's being asked to do way too much. So it's not really his fault, but this is what they've done for much of the season. So if you want examples of the tank, they're running David Camp as their second line center. He can do some penalty killing, can win you some faceoffs, but he's got 3 points. This is part of the problem that Max Sasson, who was a huge part of Abbotsford's run to the Calder Cup last year, has scored 8 goals, but he's played center. We're past the midway mark of the season. He's got 2 assists as a center in the National Hockey League. So maybe time to slide him to the wing and let him see if he can carve out a career there, because he's not a playmaker and a puck distributor. They've had injuries down the middle. I mean, they picked up Marco Rossi in the Quinn Hughes deal. He played 5 games, and he's been hurt since and won't play tomorrow night. And so, they're undermanned. They are. And the guys that they've got in their lineup, Like Besser scored last night, snapped a 21-game goal drought. Brock Besser, 40-goal scorer 2 years ago, hadn't scored since Black Friday afternoon in San Jose. Almost 2 months between goals. Like, that's the kind of season. Jake DeBrusk has 1 5-on-5 goal, Jason. We're coming up, it's past the middle of January. And the crazy thing there is, like, 10 of his 11 goals have come on the power play. He goes to the front of the net, the blue paint, the dirty areas, gets his nose dirty. He scores those goals with a man advantage for whatever reason. Like, it really, it's an outlier. He's a way better player than he has shown, but 1 5-on-5 goal as we pass the middle of January. Just unbelievable for Jake DeBrusk. So the struggles have been real, individually, collectively, you name it. Oh, and on top of that, Oiler fans, listen up. We know what the Oilers can do and have done on power play all season long. Canucks are killing penalties at 50% in the month of January, 9 for their last 18. So it's basically a coin toss. If the Canucks take penalties, probably wise to stay out of the box against the Oilers on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's actually a really good call. So Lankinen obviously is going to start. What's the latest on Demko? Is he coming back this year? Do you know?
He got hurt in Toronto last Saturday, and they sent him home off the road. They've been on the road since, so it's been difficult. This market, there's not a lot of media that follows the hockey club when it travels these days, and so information has been, in spurts. So it'll be our first chance to talk to Adam Foote at the morning skate tomorrow. I would imagine we'll get him to do the sort of updates of all the guys. And so Demko, there was Adam Foote said something along the way that, Demko is being sent home for reevaluation. There was a suggestion that this is a reoccurrence of the same injury that kept him out for a month in November. If that's the case, we think that was a groin problem. There's just no rush. Like, at this stage, why wouldn't you shut him down and try to get him right? Again, they've extended him for 3 years. That contract kicks in the summer. They don't need that, Demko, at this stage if they truly are trying to bottom out. So I would think you would try to get him right. And if that means surgery yet again, he's had a few of them throughout his career. I wish I had a better answer, but I think we'll get a little more clarity on a few of these guys at the morning skate tomorrow.
Okay. Jeff, as always, great to catch up with you, man. If you need any advice on how to cover the team in the lottery, I've got lots of experience. Did it for many years.
They've been in the lottery. I'm not sure that I need a whole lot of help in that. They just haven't won the lottery. That's been the biggest issue through the years. So maybe
drop down every year, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Canuck luck.
Now, like, the Oilers actually lost the lottery in the Taylor Hall year, but back then you could only move up 5 spots, and that's when New Jersey took Adam Larson, and the Oilers just stayed there. They obviously then did win the Nugent Hopkins one, and then even the Nail Yakupov one. Oilers fans will tell you, not sure if that was a great one to win anyway, but they just made, because none of the top 5 picks really panned out that year, right? You would have had to go, you had to go a little bit deeper.
And I think we're seeing too, like this year. For the last 2 years, it's been Gavin McKenna, right? Like, oh my goodness, Gavin McKenna. His stock has fallen a little bit. And now there's a suggestion that there's not a superstar to be had at the top of the draft, that there's lots of good players. But yeah, I mean, of all the years for the Canucks to tank and have, there's not a Celebrini, there's not a Bedard, there's obviously not a McDavid. So we'll see where it all leads here and see where the lottery balls take them and ultimately whose name they call come draft day. But really, so much of the attention in this market now is on that. It's just about doing everything within their power to ensure they have the best odds. But again, as we said, having the best odds, lotteries are set up to produce way more losers than winners. And so 25% chance, I think 25.5% chance of winning it all. We'll see.
Remember, at this time last year, no one thought Matthew Schaefer was going to be a dominant player. So you never know, man. It is a little bit of voodoo to predict the young player. Almost like trying to predict a goalie. Almost. Jeff, great stuff, buddy. Have a good one.
Thanks, Gregor.
That's Jeff Patterson joining us from Rinkwide and Canucks Army in Vancouver. The Canucks are in it, man. And Oiler fans, you have no empathy. I get it. That's like one of your biggest rivals. As soon as they have yet to win a game in 20, and that's wild, man. 50% on the penalty kill. Yeah, the Oilers power play. You have no excuse. You have no excuse not to have at least a goal. I guess unless you don't get a power play chance. But, man, if you get 2 power play chances, you should have a goal the way the Canucks are going. Just that simple. right? Unless there's something, odd that happens at the Oilers power play. So we'll see. Let's take a quick break. We'll return. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. We are coming to you live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. Many of the best U15 players here for AAA tournaments. Fantastic stuff. And when we come back, the money is flying around again. Good or bad? Guess it depends which side you're on. We'll discuss it next.
Cantork has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at cantork.com.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly, some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. The deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get 3 large specialty pizzas for only $54.99. Perfect for game night. Use promo code 3LG at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
47, we continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Obviously, Larson was in the Nugent Hopkins. That was a draft that the New Jersey won and went from 8th to 4th. So I knew out of 2 of the first drafts, I just got the year wrong, but New Jersey won it. But the rules are different. Well, the rules have changed so many times in the lottery. Now, if you win the lottery, as long as you're in the top 10, you can go all the way to number 1. That's what the Islanders did, right? And but back in 2011, you could only move up from 8 to 4, or 7 to 3, or 6 to 2, or 5 to 1. Right? And then they changed it, and they've gone back and forth, and they're always looking to try to, quote, make it more fair. Hey, what are you going to do? There's no perfect formula for that, for sure. Let's get to our baseball report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change, no overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Chelsea Janes joins us, Washington Post national writer for Major League Baseball, and the Tucker contract. Chelsea has lots of people fired up. $60 million a year for 4 years. There's lots of deferred money again. The Dodgers were spending huge money. I saw a lot of people thinking, okay, there's got to be a change in baseball and there's going to be a lockout. Where do you come out? Like, is this the final straw, or is this just the one that has annoyed people more for some reason?
I think it's one of many. I don't know if what the thing had happened was that really changed everyone's mind, but I think somewhere in the last year or so, it's become really clear to even more people that what the Dodgers are doing is something that not everybody can do. There are owners that say they can't spend, who could probably spend more, but those owners can't do what the Dodgers are doing. So, there's got to be some sort of correction, I think. And what that looks like, I don't know. But I do think that this one is particularly, egregious, maybe, just in that, no one else could do this. No one else could hover outside the market. Steve Cohen tried to give him an absurd amount of money, and it wasn't absurd enough. So, I think this is just another piece of evidence that they're doing something that even the top spending teams can't really match.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, they struck out on him, so they went to Bo Bichette and got a 3-year deal for Bo Bichette at $124 million. He's got a little bit of an opt-out. I think it's after 2 years, which kind of coincides with the potential lockout, etc. What do you make of that Bo Bichette deal and him playing third base? You think he's got the arm to be a third baseman?
That's a good question. I mean, the Mets better be pretty sure that he does. I mean, David Stearns has talked a lot this offseason about run prevention, and now he's moving, Bo Bichette out of position and relying on a veteran Marcus Semien at second base. So they must be fairly sure. I mean, I think it's a pretty clear panic move on their part. It's probably more money than Bo Bichette should get in a normal circumstance. I think I looked up other players who've gotten $42 million, annually, and it was Judge, Ohtani, Tucker, and Soto. Is Bichette in that category? I don't know, but good for him for getting it. Bob Nightingale said the Phillies were close at 7-200, which means the Blue Jays seemingly weren't even there. So I don't know quite what they're doing, but yeah, I mean, good for Bo to get that money, but certainly a move by the Mets to say, we got to do something and we'll do whatever it takes to do it.
Yeah, it's interesting about Toronto because, Ernie Clement, as a defensive third baseman is very good. He doesn't hit right-handed batters or left-handed pitching very well, but Addison Barger, the guy hit 500 in the World Series, right? He was good. Ernie Clement was good, and they still brought in some guys for sure. They got arguably the best defensive shortstop in the American League right now. Not obviously doesn't have close to the batting prowess of a guy like Bo Bichette, but what's your expectation for Santander this past season or coming up this season for Toronto if he's healthy?
I watched him a lot in Baltimore, and he was about as big time a middle of the order hitter in terms of big swing when you needed it.
Yeah.
As I had seen, he was a really big deal there. And so for him to kind of disappear completely last year, I think sort of masks what I think is a lot of value there. If the shoulder is healthy, I mean, shoulders can be a mess, but he's a real hitter. He hit 40 home runs. It didn't happen by accident. Switch hitter. So they didn't need Kyle Tucker. They didn't need Bo Bichette. But I think once they sort of said, we're going to try, all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, these are Dodgers East now. And so the fact that they don't get either, you're kind of like, do they need something? You know, maybe they need something. They're probably fine. And I think you're right. Like Addison Barger looks like a real hitter who's going to stick. And Clement was great. So they probably aren't desperate, but I think now you kind of have this feeling like, ooh, did they need to do a little bit more?
Yeah, you wonder because like they missed out on Shohei Ohtani last year, and all it did was they went to the World Series, and no one saw it coming. Now It's going to be hard to repeat that, no question. But you know what? Their pitching staff has definitely been upgraded. I don't think there's much debate on that. Like, you know, where would you rank in the American League? You know, how many teams, if any, do you think have a better starting rotation than the Blue Jays?
Yeah, I think I can't say for sure that anyone does. I mean, that depends, I guess, on health a little bit, but they've been about as durable as it gets. And, you know, Cease is really good. That was like a huge add for them, adding a strength to what I thought was a strength. So I think right now everybody's playing catch up. I mean, the Red Sox rotation looks really strong. I think you could, you know, argue for them. I think the Orioles will keep adding. I mean, that's why it's so insane being in that division, because they made moves that they jumped the market to get a great starter. And you're kind of like, is that even the best rotation in the division? I think it's up there, and it's obviously been proven in October. So that's something.
Chelsea Janes joins us, a national beat reporter for the Washington Post. And Chelsea, covering baseball and, you know, all the talk about, you know, the salary cap, and they don't have one. They have the luxury tax. Do you think it's realistic to think that MLB, like, will the players, like NHL hockey sat out a year and then they eventually got a salary cap, right? Like if the owners, you got billionaire owners, if they really want it, they'll get it. So my question is, do you think there's enough owners in baseball who want it?
I don't know. I think the real question is, are there enough owners who want it enough to miss games 2 years before they're trying to get their national media contract set for the next decade or two? Okay. So all the TV deals nationally, I mean, outside of Canada, you know, it's kind of different up there, as you guys know, but it's, you know, they're all up after 2029. Rob Manfred made sure to get them all aligned so he can try to sell and get a more NFL-like number for their national deals. And I just don't see them being willing to sacrifice games in 2027, which is, you know, going to be a platform year basically for their television rights. I just don't see it. I don't see them stopping the momentum, you know, over a salary cap. But I do think everyone agrees that there is substantial change needed, if only to just kind of like make it seem a little more fair or stop the Dodgers a little bit. Yeah. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is short of a salary cap. I certainly can't think of a good answer. But I just don't think that if a salary cap means missing a ton of games, that I don't think that's going to be the answer, because it's too risky for Rob Manfred and the owners as they try to, you know, get huge TV deals in a couple of years.
Yeah, well, and that's that. I love how you put that. Are they willing to want to sit out the whole time? And the perception of making it look like it's, you know, a little bit more competitive than what they're doing. I don't know how, like, I don't know how you, even if you put in a salary cap, like the Dodgers would have to trade off their whole team. Right. Well, not their whole team, of course, but, you know, like they've got so many guys and then so much deferred money. Some other organizations like, well, I don't want to take that contract. Like, to me, the deferred money is the scary part of this. It's like you're going into a lot of future, you know, and I know you think, well, the bubble's never going to burst, but that's a pretty risky proposition.
Totally. I expect that to get regulated more in the next CBA. I just think people have gotten really creative with it. And one way to kind of shore up, I guess, you know, if you're not going to have a salary cap, but you want to kind of limit spending, I think you can limit deferred money. That's probably an easy way to do it. So that's one thing. But yeah, it's wild. I mean, the numbers that you're talking about right now are insane. And, you know, I don't know how you stop that, especially if revenue keeps growing. You want revenue to keep growing. But I think, you know, a salary cap would be really good for the sport. I just don't think enough players agree. And so you've kind of got to find some middle ground. You know, Rob Manfred has been thinking about this for much of his adult life. And I tend to think that at this point, he's got some kind of vision for how he wants it to go. Is it a salary cap? Maybe, but I think there might be some more creativity happening there in terms of how they want to, you know, set things up with the TV contracts coming back. I just think there's a lot of money in play right now, and maybe a lot of money that they can use to kind of get owners on the same page about something that'll happen without missing games.
So, okay. And lastly, with Tucker and Bichette now off the market, 2 big contracts today. And like, that's a pretty big deal. Like MLB Free Agency is very different than a lot of the other leagues. It kind of waits. And then all of a sudden, boom, like 2 months into it and some massive contracts. But who are some of the names left out there that you still see as like, now, there might be some guys at lower numbers that could be really good free agent signings for some teams.
Yeah, I think Framber Valdez is probably the best pitcher available. I mean, at his best, he's, a 1 or 2 in the World Series kind of starter. I think the Orioles probably make a lot of sense there. Maybe the Mets if they're desperate. I think the trade market, I don't know if Tarek Kubel will go. That seems like a lot would have to happen. But someone like Mackenzie Gore in D.C. seems like, a really high-end option that could move. And then on the position player side, I mean, Cody Bellinger seems like he's got a fairly, the Yankees want him, and what happens after that, we don't know. But it's going to get interesting because I think people feel like they're kind of running out of free agent offensive options, and so maybe we'll get some trades or some more creative stuff coming. But yeah, the switch really flipped in the last 48, 72 hours. Seems like everything's happening all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, that's it'll be very interesting. Chelsea, thanks so much for joining us on a busy time. I know for being a national writer in MLB. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Chelsea Janes joining us from the Washington Post. That's a huge deal for Tucker, a huge deal for Bichette. And honestly, I never, and Cons, I never thought Tucker was a great fit for Toronto, to be honest. Like, guy's got a little bit of injury issues, like definitely not for 60 mil, no chance. And I really like Bo Bichette. I think people might underestimate just like how good he was as a hitter for Toronto. Like, yeah, he's not the best defensive shortstop. That's fine, but he's a really good hitter. Look at him. He comes in the World Series. The guy's playing on one leg. He still got on base. Like, that's his bat is going to be hard to replace. And that's where Barger's got to come in. Like, I'm a big fan of Barger, but to replace Bichette at the plate isn't that easy. Barger's got a can of an arm. I like how he runs the bases, all that. But Bo Bichette is just a really good hitter, right? He's got good power, right? More of a doubles guy, but just a really good get on base. And I think they might miss him, but I think the Jays are still fine. I love what Chelsea said there about Santander, because I'll be honest, you're kind of like, geez, like it's amazing how, what have you done for me lately? And that's what pro sports is about. Like Santander a few years ago, yeah, it was great, but this last year was a disaster. But that doesn't mean he can't be good again. But I think the expectations for Santander will be very low when the season starts. And if he plays well, all of a sudden people are like, see, oh, geez, kind of forgot that you've got a 40 home run hitter that's just wasn't, was a shadow of himself last year.
Yeah, that's what you're kind of praying on it right now, that you can get that bounce back performance from him. We had heard he had it in him. We didn't get a chance to see it obviously this much, but I agree with you. I think that the Bo Bichette loss, it's going to be big. That was a guy who was leading the league in hits before the injury. You could count him for that big play, and despite some maybe defensive liability, you move into second base, and I think it could have worked out pretty well there. So I think that's a big loss for the Blue Jays. Not something they can't overcome, because we know, he didn't play significant time and they had a pretty good run without him. But for a guy who was homegrown, I think a lot of fans would have loved to see him sign that contract in Toronto instead of New York.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, the Nuge, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, will join us to discuss career game 1000, which will occur Sunday at home against the St. Louis Blues. Of course, game 99 in his home province of BC. So the family will be there. They're pretty excited for that tomorrow night, and then they'll all be jumping on a plane to come to Edmonton on Sunday for his 1000th game. He gets a silver stick amongst many other things. But first, let's get to the Comment on a Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Fountain Tire. Oil changes, tires, vehicle repairs, they do it all. Your one-stop shop to get your vehicle running smoothly. FountainTire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Light night in the NHL. Got 5 games on the schedule. The Sharks in Detroit. Hurricanes host the Panthers. Lightning taking on the Blues. Avalanche and Preds, and the Ducks up against the Kings in the association. Toronto Raptors hosting the Clippers. Tip-off set for 5:30. Elsewhere, Bulls taking on the Nets. You got the Sixers and the Cavs. Pelicans in Indiana, and the Rockets open against the Timberwolves. Bo Bichette's time in Toronto is coming to an end. As reports say, the 27-year-old shortstop has signed a 3-year contract with the New York Mets worth $126 million. It comes with opt-outs after both of the first 2 seasons. In the WHL, the Oil Kings are in Medicine Hat to take on the Tigers at 7. In the AJ, 4 games, including Drayton Valley and Whitecourt, and the Kodiaks taking on the Bobcats. PWHL action has New York hosting Minnesota at 5. Down at the Drake this weekend, you got Golden Bears hosting Regina, 7 p.m. both nights. The Pandas on the road in Regina tonight and tomorrow. And at the Saddle Center, basketball action with the Bears and Pandas both hosting Manitoba. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, hear comments from Ryan Nugent Hopkins, ask 5 questions, and be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Think your credit's not good enough for a new ride? Think again. Go Auto's car loan calculator is here to help. No commitments, no credit hits, just real answers. You tell us a few things, and we'll show you what you can afford. Text credit to 780-777-7777. That's credit to 780 all
326.
Go Auto. We do the math, so you can do the driving.
347.
The BCHL All-Star Game is coming to the Thompson Family Arena in Spruce Grove. The league's best players will go head-to-head in 2 exciting games, January 16th and 17th. The BCHL College Prospects Game takes place on Friday, January 16th at 7 p.m., while the premier matchup will see Canada take on the world on Saturday, January 17th at 7:30 p.m. For ticket inquiries and excellent group ticket packages, go to tickets.sgsaints.ca.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Happy New Year! I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for everything in 2025. With your help and your support, we fed almost 500 families. We donated to various charities in the Edmonton area, and we're going to do it again in 2026. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. It's Friday. You know what that means. Lotto Max. Get your tickets tonight. $10 million up for grabs. PlayAlberta.ca. And, of course, Oilers. taking on the Canucks tomorrow. You heard Jeff Patterson. Geez, it might be looking at some power play points maybe. If the Oilers get a few power plays, the Canucks have allowed 9 power play goals on 18 chances so far in 2026. They're still looking for their first win. It has been a tough start to 2026 for the Canucks as they are riding an 8-game. Well, the 2 of them, I guess, what are they? They've lost their last 6 in regulation, and then they lost the other 2 in overtime and a shootout, and prior to that, they lost to Philly. So it's technically 9 losses in a row, but they're 0-7-2 in that time. And they've given up a lot. They haven't scored a lot. Heck, this is a game you better win if you're the Edmonton Oilers. That's what I would say. It's a game they better win. Now, do you want to go to Nugent Hopkins game 1000? Well, we got a pair of seats, some great seats. Bill has it at 500. We're going to end that at 5 o'clock today. So if you want to go currently for the Nuge game 1000 on Sunday night, 6 o'clock, $500 right now from Bill, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Now, let's get to a conversation I had with Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who, of course, is going to play game 1000 on Sunday. Now, he's got game 99 tomorrow in Vancouver. And just, the importance for Nuge, he's going to be the first player ever in franchise history to play his first 1,000 games in the NHL as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. What's it mean?
You'll be the first player in franchise history to play his first 1,000 games in the NHL, all as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. And Kevin Lowe did play 1,037, but kind of in 2 stints. What does that mean to you to kind of be the first in such a storied franchise?
Yeah, it definitely means a lot. I mean, I've been very fortunate to, first of all, to be drafted here and to this organization, and to be able to have kind of stuck around through some tough times, and to have the trust of the organization behind me. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a huge honor for me. It's been a privilege to play these years here in Edmonton, and with such a great group and a great group of fans. So just very fortunate. And yeah, I mean, obviously not stopping now. So I want to keep going, and I want to keep playing a lot more in this building.
You've had a really unique relationship with the fans in the sense that, they called you Baby Nuge right from the young age. You've had a lot of nicknames. Obviously, when you fight, they love it. But you've been a guy through the worst times, and now obviously some very good times. That a lot of fans that generation of fan Ryan Nugent Hopkins is like their guy. How do you relate to that as a player? Do you feel that from the fan base?
I definitely feel the support from the fans for sure. They've always been great to me. They supported me. Obviously, I came in a first pick, so you have a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations, and I feel like they kind of stuck with me through some tougher years. And yeah, I mean, they've been great to myself and my family. I mean, they're in general just a great fan base, but I've been very fortunate the way that they've treated me, and I definitely don't take it for granted.
Ryan, you mentioned those early years, and you came in as the number 1 pick and overall. So there's lots of expectations, and you were always an offensive guy. But early on, you seem to embrace like that defensive responsibility, maybe a little bit to sacrifice offense. Where'd that come from, and how was that a tough decision looking back?
Yeah, I think it was pretty quick for me to understand that it was something that I needed to work on, and an area of my game where I maybe needed a little more focus than other parts of my game. If I wanted to be able to help the team in that sense, I didn't want to just be that running gun, just pure offensive guy, and I had to change some things, and I definitely focused on it for a few years. And whether or not it hurt me offensively a little bit, that's kind of the growing pains you go through as a young player in this league. And I'm happy that I took that time to kind of grow my game, and I'm still trying to, everybody's always trying to find the right mix of offense and defense. And but I mean, I'm happy that I took that time and in that stage of my career to focus on the defensive side of things.
Quickly, when you look at 1,000 games, did you ever think of 1,000? Like, was that a goal at some point in your career when you look at, I want to play 1,000 as an Oiler?
To a certain extent. I don't know about the number itself, but I mean, when I first got here, I definitely it was a goal of mine to be here my whole career, and I wanted to obviously win here and be on a successful team here. And the 1,000 game mark, obviously, it's a milestone, but it's more so, I think, in my mind, was I want to have my career in Edmonton, and I know it doesn't happen a whole lot in this league. And I think as a young kid, you think it happens more than it actually does. And as I've kind of growing up in this league, you start to realize that it's not that often it happens. But so I take a lot of pride in that, and I'm very lucky to have been able to do it so far to this point. And but yeah, I mean, it's obviously a milestone that you kind of go through, but yeah, it's more so, I think, when I was young, I just wanted to be able to say that I played my career in Edmonton.
And, you know, you become a real big face of the team, and also like with some superstars in the NHL and guys who really respect you and look up to you. How does that relationship, when I know I jokingly asked about kind of like a big brother, but to McDavid and Dry, just to see their evolution as a teammate and as a human?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun for me. I mean, obviously, well, I mean, especially Connor, he comes in with these crazy expectations. I mean, we talked about my own expectations. They're a lot different than what Connor came in with, and to see him embrace that and turn into the player probably exceeding expectations, and it has been a lot of fun to be a part of and a lot of fun to watch. And same thing with Leon. I mean, the way he took some steps early in his career to just excel himself to one of the best players in the world, and Darnell has rounded his game out as one of the best defensive defensemen, and with obviously that offensive ability. But I mean, just one of the harder guys to play against in the league. And just like I said in the group, I mean, they're mature, not kids anymore, but they came in and they came in together too, which I think helps them a decent amount. They're tight right from the get-go, and they kind of fed off each other and learned from each other a little bit. But to see their evolution, those three, has been pretty special for me.
A few quick rapid fire. Who's been your funniest teammate over your term as an Oiler?
Oh, the funniest ever? That's so tough. Actually, I lived with that Mark Arcabello. I remember him. He was a character. He always had us. He was always yapping. Always had some jokes and stuff. But Cass was another guy who you just sit there and kind of listen to all day. He had a lot of funny moments. Yeah, I mean, there's so many guys that have come through here, and a lot of guys. I feel like that's kind of part of their identity, is keeping things light in the room.
Who's your most competitive fantasy player amongst teammates, who takes it really serious?
What do you mean fantasy?
Like
fantasy football? Probably Himes. Yeah, Himes.
Does he think he's a GM there, like he is in the other
yeah. Well, I think that's what helps him. He's kind of got that mind for it. He's good with it, and I feel like not just fantasy, but any of the pools and stuff that we do, especially football, he's pretty dialed into.
So the sneaky element of your game is when you have to drop the mitts, you know how to hold your own. Which one of your teammates did you think you surprised the most when you fought, and their reaction afterwards?
Well, I think the guy who I surprised the most with fighting in general was Eki. It was his first game as an Oiler, and I think it was when I fought Hall, maybe. So he was taken aback a little bit. He didn't expect that for sure. But yeah, I think obviously I'm not out there running guys and trying to pick fights and stuff. So new guys coming in, especially the younger guys, I'm sure they don't expect that. But I think the funniest one was probably Eki.
And what are you expecting for your T-shirt? Do you know what picture's coming?
I don't know. I've been wondering that, actually. Yeah, I'm sure there's some stupid ones out there. They always try to find. I mean, you got to go with something not flattering. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll find one.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't have a chance to talk to Epcom because I want to get his reaction when he comes back about that. Because it is fun. Like, honestly, how many fans, like, I think it's just another element that why fans respect Nugent Hopkins. He's not the best player. He's not the biggest player. He's not the fastest player. But he can do a lot of different things. You don't see Draisaitl fight. You don't see McDavid fight. Right? Like Taylor Hall didn't fight. Jordan Eberle didn't fight. Like I'm just listing kind of other skilled guys. Like, guys who are 60, 70, 80-point players, 100-point players that they didn't fight. There's Nugent Hopkins out there. He's had a few spirited tilts. And that Justin Hall one was the one, like he laid the smackdown pretty good in that scrap. And you think about it, like you're Matthias Ekholm, and you played in the league a long time. You knew who Nugent Hopkins was, but you probably hadn't seen him fight before. And so I could just it's instant. A lot of people respect it because most people, even in the NHL, you won't do it. Most listeners don't want to fight. Like sometimes you might have to. It's not like Nuge is walking around, skating around. Hey, who wants to go? Right? Like this. That's not what he does. But when guys like that do drop the mitts, it gets everybody going. Like I know the crowd. I remember the crowd went bananas that game and online. Like it was nuts. Right? Many of you right now, the texts are coming in already at 833-401-1440. Guys, I was as surprised as Ekholm. That was unreal. See, exactly, from Dan. And there's many of you that feel the same way about it. Because it's anytime, it's like when Ty Emerson scores his next goal, watch the bench's reaction. Because he's not a goal scorer. He scores like 1 goal a year, right? People get excited about it. So when you have a non-fighter all of a sudden fight and then do pretty well at it, you're like, oh, I kind of like this. It's like, I don't know if you saw the Philly game last night. So Blake Lizotte, smaller guy, little water bug. He ran Berkeley, the young Philly guy. Now, didn't run him, but came across the middle, connected on a very clean hit, hard hit, and guess who goes and fights him? Matvey freaking Michkov. Now, he didn't dominate the fight. He didn't get beat up. Did all right. And so it's Pittsburgh, Philly. It's a rivalry, right? And you're losing the game 6-1. He steps up. Rick Tocchet is a coach. Automatically, you know what? The respect goes up in his books. And guess what? Michkov hadn't scored in a long time. What did he do late in the period? Scored. Right? Like sometimes getting out of your comfort zone it's hard, but it impresses your teammates, man. It does. And so for Nuge to do that, when he does it, people like it. And nowadays you're kind of, who did he fight the other day? Pionk, right? In Winnipeg. It's a good little tilt. 2 little Bantam Roosters going at it. Nothing wrong with it. Before we take a break, let's get to the 2-minute warning. With Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, of course, long-time journalist in town. Cam was born with cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. He's never let him slow it down. And Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning. On Fridays, he likes us to read it. And so here is Cam words coming to life in the 2-minute warning. Cons, cue the music. Hey, Gregor, good for you for being out at the big John Reed Memorial Hockey Tournament. What a great event, eh? A friend of mine is there too. You might see him walking around the rink. He's got this big white beard. I mean, he really does look like Santa Claus. And there's a story behind why he's there. See, back in the mid-'70s, this bearded wonder of mine played hockey with the guy everyone called Johnny Reed. They called it Bantam and Midget back then. That's what we knew. My buddy played defense, and he had this knack for seeing the ice. He often fed Johnny a beautiful pass up the middle. And boy, Johnny knew what to do with it. They became good friends, the kind of friends that hockey gives you, lifetime friends. We were all sad when Johnny passed away from cancer, really sad. But hockey and friendship, there ain't nothing like it, is there? So my bearded buddy, he's retired now, living near Saskatoon. And yesterday, he drove all the way in for the John Reed Memorial Tournament. He told me he's even going to pop by and visit the old sponsor of his midget team, Butchers and Packers. Well, that is a great blast from the past. I love it. Just to say thank you after all these years. Can you imagine? Now, this is his wonderful story. His quick card Edmonton Minor Hockey Weekend wraps up this weekend. It's about how minor hockey brings us together and keeps us together across decades, across provinces, through joy and through loss. So, Gregor, keep an eye open for that bearded guy out there. Maybe say hi if you see him. Because here's the thing. That guy is my brother, Brad. Cam Tate, 2-minute warning, Sports 1440. Little Tater, that's awesome. I'll have to look out for the big man, Brad. Big beard. That's classic, man. You know what? Like, that's how you honor a friendship from many years ago. And I love the reference to the Butchers and Packers, man. That I know there's lots of listeners who played for the Butchers and Packers back in their minor hockey days. And usually I think now don't get me wrong, if it was the if it was both Bantam and Midget that they sponsor, or was it just Bantam? I don't know. Obviously, I didn't play for them, but I remember playing against them, and I was just like, Butchers and Packers. Sick name. So there's got to be a few of our listeners out there that also got to play for the Butchers and Packers. And that's a great little story, Tater. I love it. 2-minute warning. And Brad, that's awesome to honor your good friend. And this tournament, they do it very well. The John Reed Memorial Tournament. It's fantastic. And lots of really good young players here. Lots of scouts from WHL and around, because obviously these kids, many of them will be taken in the upcoming draft, Bantam draft. Is it still called the Bantam draft? I think it might be. I don't know, 100%. If it's just maybe it's just a WHL draft, but either way, I don't think Bantam offends anyone, so we could probably still call it the Bantam draft. So there you go, attaboy Brad. I'll take a look for him. Let's take a quick break. When we return, Craig Button will join us here. It's the Jason Gregor Show live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament in St. Albert.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The new double cheesy melt at McDonald's. We're talking 2 juicy, mouth-watering 100% Canadian beef patties, 2 slices of cheesy goodness, with even more melty, cheesy sauce on top. Topped with pickles, then crispy and grilled onions. The way it all comes together, you don't just eat it, you melt into it. The double cheesy melt, only at McDonald's. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
You're listening to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Positive Friday continues on. How are you? Welcome back. Jason Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. Remember, if you do play, use your Game Sense. Go to GameSenseAB.ca and find the best ways for you to stay within your limits. PlayAlberta.ca. I am Jason Gregor, coming to you live from the John Reed Memorial Tournament in St. Albert. As many of the top teams in the province, in Western Canada, even some from United States, and of course for 13 and 14-year-old players. Many of them will be in the WHL draft later on this year. And lots and lots of scouts. I think pretty much I think I've seen almost every WHL GM in the building here today. Walk bys were on air. Jeez, I got a lot of waves too. Only one bird, so that's good. It's a good ratio. I'll take that a lot. As we go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings. Thinking about solar? Don't think any longer. Get in and give you great grants. ActionElectrical.net. As Craig Button from TSN, former NHL GM scout, ace analyst for TSN, Stanley Cup winner. And hey, Butts, one of those Stanley Cup champs, actually had him. Richard Matvichuk was on the show with me earlier today. Wanted to say hello, so I told him I would pass on.
Hello back to Richard. You know what's amazing about Richard? Richard was the Western Hockey League Defenseman of the Year after we had drafted him 8th overall, and he was a really good player. And as he turned pro, you know, and trying to look at him and trying to see, you know where he would fit. You know, we went to him from a development point of view and said, hey, you know, we think you can be really good in this area and really good as what we would call a good two-way defenseman, somebody that could move the puck, maybe not be a big offensive producer, but be a really great defender. And he embraced it. He embraced it fully. And along with Darian Hatcher, they became the Bass brothers. And ask anybody that played in that era against those two guys, nobody had any fun playing against Darian or Richard. Richard was an instrumental figure on our successful teams in Dallas.
Well, and he was a goalie until he was 13.
Well, he wasn't a big guy either, you know, like when you look at it, and he was thin. It took him a little while to get to mature. And so think about it. He was a goalie. He was an offensive defenseman, great with the puck, and then he embraced this other area of his game. And I'm telling you, he was, you know, in a world today where everybody's looking for points, Richard was the picture of, okay, what can I do to have a career, and what can I do to be part of something much bigger than myself? And he demonstrated it. I'm telling you, he's a poster boy for that. He's great.
Yeah. Craig, a few things. We had Jeff Patterson on. The Vancouver Canucks, like, you don't plan, rarely do you plan to be the worst team in the NHL, right? Like the Canucks were planning, hey, we're going to play good this year, and Quinn Hughes is going to re-sign. And obviously that hasn't worked out, and Hughes has left, and Demko's hurt, and you know what? Things are kind of going from bad to worse. But now that you're in it, that's when you got to commit to it. Right now, you should just say, okay, you know what? We've ended up here. We didn't want to be here, but we got to make sure that we can make the most of this now for the Canucks and start to retool moving forward from here, right? Like to me, it's easy to say, let's trade away some guys. What are the mistakes the Canucks could make now that they're in it? I think it's trying to claw back out too fast.
Well, how about if we use a really good example and one that you're very aware of and one that you'll see illustrates exactly that. And you don't come out of it fast. In 2008 or the 2009 season, you know, that was a year where, you know, the Edmonton Oilers were looking to maybe make some headway, make some steps forward. And it came apart at the seams real early. And Kevin Lowe and Craig McDavid just said, okay, that's where we're at. That's how we're going to proceed. Now, I mean, there was a number of years and you know, but Taylor Hall, right? Nugent Hopkins, you know, Neil Yakupov, who didn't turn out. I mean, Nuge is ready to play his 1000th game. You have, you know, Taylor Hall has been a real terrific player, and then obviously McDavid, and then moving forward. But the Edmonton Oilers recognized at that time, you know, putting Band-Aids on a cut that requires 50 stitches is not going to stop the bleeding. And I give Kevin Lowe and Craig McDavid a ton of credit for recognizing it at that point in time. And you know, you need your owner to support you, no question about it. But that's where the Vancouver Canucks find themselves.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a 1-year fix, Craig. Like
no,
like Demko can't stay healthy. Elias Pettersson, I don't know if he's ever going to get to be the player that they were hoping when they signed him to that $11 million contract. I don't really know, to be honest. And like the funny thing is, a guy that would probably help their organization is Kiefer Sherwood, but I get why you're going to trade him, because lots of like his trade value might never be higher than it is right now.
Well, but again, like, so if it's going to be a long road, right? And it is going to be a longer road. So if Kiefer Sherwood is somebody that you feel hey, listen, you can be a big part of your group, and you want him to be a part of the group, and he wants to be part of your group, well, then I would say explore it and talk about it. But at the end, you got to evaluate, what's the return on Kiefer Sherwood. And if it's about, like, you can get some prospect, you can get some draft picks, well, that's where they're headed now. Because this thing for Vancouver now, you're looking at 3, 4, 5 years down the road. That's the reality of their situation. So, Kiefer Sherwood's a competitive player. He's somebody that wants to be in an environment where, that competitiveness can pay dividends. And I'm talking about, competing for something meaningful. And so I don't see, unless the player just says, hey, listen, I really like it here. I just want to be here. And, let's find a way to get a deal done. I think the Vancouver Canucks absolutely have to move him.
Craig Button joined us. Craig, the Edmonton Oilers, there's a lot of people that were talking about, oh, you know what, you got to move Ingram down. I'm like, no, you don't. He's one of their top 2 goalies, arguably maybe their best goalie right now. So they're going to keep 3 goalies. You've got 40 days really to figure it out, because that Adam Henrique is on LTIR. They've got the cap flexibility to go 3, 7, and 13 right now, and you just run with it. It's not ideal for Calvin Pickard because he's probably not going to play a lot in that time, but it's ideal for the organization, right? Like you have time, use it to your advantage, because lots can change. Maybe someone gets hurt in that time, who knows? But like moving Ingram down to the minors tomorrow, to me, would be an absolutely foolish decision, and I see zero reason it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, again, you always want to do what I believe you're always doing what should be best for the organization. You balance that out with where the players are at and what you're, I guess I'll use the term, what you can do with respect to the CBA and moving players up and down. But at the same time, you can move other players around to create flexibility in your lineup and create flexibility on your cap. And to your point, this is the reality of the situation. And to me, like, Calvin Pickard would get picked up on waivers, because there's a number of teams out there that are suffering with injuries and need somebody. And maybe they just pick them up for 2 weeks. Maybe they pick them up for 3 weeks. Maybe they pick, but now you've lost somebody. And what happens if you have somebody go down? And, like, we all hope that players and hopefully Tristan is going to be able to stay healthy and be in the net. And that's what everybody hopes for. But something all of a sudden, upsets that idea or upsets that plan. Now you're scrambling. And the last thing you want to be doing with a good team is scrambling.
Oh, God, yes. No question. And you know what? Pickard's a guy that even if he doesn't play, Craig, like, he's important. I know they actually, if I'm not mistaken, there's a feature coming out on him and just his importance. And, he's a funny guy. He'll be on the bench. And the Oilers, now you use the 3 goalie advantage. I'm taking Jari and Pickard to Vancouver tomorrow. I'm leaving Ingram at home, and then Ingram's going to play against St. Louis on Sunday. No travel. He'll be well rested. And, the team, that'll be their 4th game or whatever it is, 6th game in 9 days. So they'll be a little fatigued coming back. They'll probably get some juice from Nugent Hopkins. But when you have the 3 goalie situation, well, it's not ideal. You might as well take advantage of it.
Well, let me ask you this. What do they do with pitchers? You have a 4-man, 5-man rotation, right? And a lot of times they send the pitcher on to the next place. It's exactly what you should be doing. Compressed schedule, back-to-back games, lots of stress. Okay, you're going to be here. You're not traveling. You're staying right here. And you're going to be ready to go. And then and that's the rotation you use. It's exactly what they should be. That's what I'd be doing. I'm not going to start telling other people what they should do. It's exactly what I'd be doing.
The Dallas Stars, Craig, winners of 2 of their last 11 games. What's up with the Stars?
Well, what's good about things is that there's always somebody you can ask, what's up with this team or what's up with that team? Right now, I think that the Stars, some of the areas where they struggle are on the blue line. And I think that they're short on the blue line. I think that's the only place. I shouldn't say the only place. I think that that's one area that Jim Nill really has to look at, support and get that. Because, again, back-to-back games, compressed schedule, whereas you're going to have a lot of players at the Olympics. I think the other area that they're struggling in, they're light up front. They're a light team. They're a light team. And I know they have skill. I know they're well coached. I know Jake Ottinger's a good goaltender. We all know what they have. I focus in on what they don't have. I don't think they have what it takes to win when it counts in the playoffs, when it gets hard. Are they a playoff team? Yeah. Are they contender? Yeah. There's no question. Are they the team that's hard and going to be hardened? I don't see it.
The New York Rangers sent out the release today, Craig. It's a retool, and they're going to move guys. Artemi Panarin, I think, is at the top of the list. He's not going to get a contract extension. He's a final year of his deal. He obviously has a no movement clause, so he'll have a lot of say in it. I look at teams, maybe Dallas. I know Mike Rupp on our pod said, hey, he thinks maybe that's a fit there. Carolina has always been looking for a high-end offensive player. Do you see a team that would be a good fit to have Panarin come in and help them?
New Jersey, New York Islanders.
The Islanders. I said the Islanders next year because I couldn't see the Rangers trade into the Islanders. But you know what? He loves New York. Signs on the Islanders because that's the one thing they're missing, Craig. They got an unreal goalie. They got an unreal young defenseman, but they don't have a lot of high-end offensive players.
They don't. The LA Kings, another team that could use scoring.
Yeah.
The Ottawa Senators. I mean, I'm looking at teams that, like, I'm serious. I mean, the Dallas Stars don't need offense. They don't need offense.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I don't think so. I mean,
what about Carolina?
If Chris Drury is put on, I don't think Carolina needs offense either. I think Carolina's like Dallas. Like, they're a good team. Like, and this is going to sound really harsh. I don't take them seriously as real Stanley Cup contenders. I don't think they're big enough or heavy enough when it counts the most.
Yeah.
So I don't think they need Panarin.
Yeah,
I think they need. Right. I think they need weight in their lineup, and I think they have more than enough scoring. And like you have Seth Jarvis, you have Sebastian Aho, you have Stan Colvin, you have players, Ehlers, you have, like, what did I just name? Like, they're all light offensive guys. Okay, I'll live with that. But you're light everywhere else too.
Yeah, like, well, if Evander Kane could turn back the clock, he'd probably be the fit for Carolina. I'm just not sure how much he has left in the tank.
That type of player is exactly who I'd be going after. Like, again, there's lots of talk about Blake Coleman, right? Like, that's the type of player you need. Why did the Tampa Bay Lightning fall short? They won 62 games and they couldn't get past Columbus. And then all of a sudden they said, wait a second, we got to get a little bit heavier in other areas of our lineup. And they trade for Goudreau and they trade for Coleman. And then they went back-to-back Stanley Cups, going to another Stanley Cup. Look at it's the same thing that happened in Colorado. The same thing that happened in Vegas. Like, again, the template's not changing in my view. And so when I look at it and I look at Dallas, who's a good team, don't get me wrong, and Carolina's a good team. When I say I don't take them seriously as the real contenders, because when it gets hard, I don't think they have enough to go deep. When you get into the playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs, 2 months to win the Stanley Cup, it's who can go the hardest, the longest. And it's not for the faint of heart. And it's not for the light.
It's true. Bots, as always, man, I love it. I appreciate it. Anybody you like in the NFL this weekend?
Yeah, well, Connor talked to me at the beginning before I came on here. He didn't congratulate me on the win, by the Patriots over the Chargers. I was prepared to buy him lunch if the Chargers won and everything. In all fairness to the Chargers, their offensive line got decimated. And, the Patriots really took advantage. But I see the Patriots beating the Texans. I don't think the Texans have enough offense, but I'm really, really intrigued by the San Francisco 49ers and the Seahawks because, what San Francisco went and did last week in Philly was pretty impressive. And obviously Buffalo going into Denver. I mean, they hadn't won a game on the road. They've taken that monkey off their back. So, I root for the Patriots, but I'm really paying attention to Buffalo, Denver, and to that 49ers. I mean, the 49ers, that was a gutty win in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. No, well, the Eagles, imagine. The Eagles probably would be in the second round if they would have played their starters in the last weekend of the regular season, then played Green Bay in the first round instead of San Francisco. But you never know. We'll see. Craig, have yourself a great weekend, my man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Craig Button from TSN. And, hey, we got a special guest joining us down here live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. And we were joined by Fernando Pisani. We just heard it from Craig Button talking about that 2 months, buddy. And it's basically who can play the hardest, the longest. You kind of do you agree with that sentiment from him?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't hear that.
Well, he said that you gotta basically in the playoffs it comes down to who can play the hardest, the longest to win.
Yeah, that's true. It comes down to winning your one-on-one battles and just beating a guy to a man. But yeah, that's definitely true. It's a grind for sure.
Now you're here. Now your boy. Now is your youngest playing this tournament?
No. My youngest.
Oh, he's in
Everett.
U17 now, right?
No, he's in Everett.
Oh, your oldest is in. Oh, your youngest is in the
My
Dub.
youngest
God,
is
you're
in the
getting
Dub.
old.
Yeah,
eh?
I know.
That's awesome. So, what do you hear? You scouting or what?
You know what? I've got some friends that are kids that are playing in this, so I want to come out and see. Struddy's playing right now. His kid's out there, so came to check it out. And me being in St. Albert, and this tournament's always been a big part of our lives growing up and having my kids play their minor hockey here in St. Albert. So it's always great to come out here and watch and kind of see the next big players coming up.
Yeah, well, have you Struddy's not head coaching. Have you noticed him? Like, does his defenseman just go off the boards and out? What's happening?
Well, Struddy's just swinging the gate right now, so that's probably where he should be.
Yeah.
We want the kids to be able to move the puck and pass it on the tape. That's definitely not Struddy's forte.
Looking, this tournament, like for St. Albert's, been here a long time, and I don't know, was it around? Did you play?
No.
Okay.
But when you look at this tournament, and you kind of see like all the young
players, but just and your kids went through it, right? Like it's like there's a lot of pressure. There's still a lot of excitement, though, right? For a tournament like this, because the kids, they like to kind of compare themselves to see where they're at against some of these other schools and teams from other provinces, and we had even a team from Colorado.
Yeah, it's growing up in St. Albert, and this is kind of the tournament that the kids all look forward to. They have all the kids come here and watch the games yesterday, and it's a lot of pressure on these little guys, and sometimes we forget how young they are. And you can't lose sight of the experience and being a part of it. And, try to just tell, and people ask me, just go out there and enjoy it and have fun. And it's really cool to play in front of that many people, but it's definitely something, if they want to move on to the next level, they have to kind of learn how to cope and deal with that pressure. And this is a great tournament for that, for sure.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is going to play game 1,000 for your former franchise as the Oilers. He'll be the first Oiler ever to play his first 1,000 games in the NHL as a member of the Oilers. And you know what? You knew what it was like to become a fan favorite. Obviously, in 2006. After that, I don't know if you've bought a coffee or a beer for a long time in Edmonton, but you look at a guy like Nugent Hopkins, and from somebody who played and who knows the passion, he's kind of like this generation's Ryan Smith, who's kind of beloved by the fan base, and really has stuck around. Like I'm looking, he's on pace to maybe finish top 100 in points in his career, right? Like he's never been the best in anything, but he's just a really solid player.
Well, he's been through the thick and thin of it through the organization, and to play 1,000 games is an extraordinary feat. Like you look at the longevity of a NHL player in the league, it's not very long, and for him to do it and have success and be a part of it when the times weren't so great, but now to be a part of it when they're a very good hockey team and have potential to win it all, that's not a lot of guys, experience that. Usually when, you go through the tough times, you're not there for the good times because there's so much movement and player movement. And for him to be a part of it on both ends is truly amazing. And he's having a great career, and he continue to do so.
Fernando Pisani joins a special guest here live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. And you mentioned your sons in Everett. They got a dominant team out in the West, so you get to go see him. And then your other boys playing in Junior A in BC, so probably little road trips. But you look at that as a like you're always. I've got to know you, like you're a pretty calm guy. Like now doesn't mean that you don't get fired up and you're not competitive, but you know how to kind of you're better at most of us at kind of controlling your emotions outwardly. How is it when you watch, your kids, now you get to a higher level of hockey? Or do you call them all the time, or do you sometimes have to pace as the dad in the crowd?
Well, it's funny. On the drive here, I was talking to him about, you never stop coaching as a dad, and you just want them to have success. And, I think I don't overdo it, but, you try to just, tell them the things that they're doing well, but also the things that they can improve on. And that's what you want, especially being a young player in a very, tough league with everything that's happened with the NCAA opening up everything. And I think, the CHL in general, that league has, gotten that much better just because of everybody coming and wanting to be in the best league. It's a tough league to play in, but it also sets them up for, if this is what they want to do moving forward, then you're going to have to go through the good and the bad. And, unfortunately there is bad part of it, but the ones who persevere and work through it and, go through the grind, usually are better for it in the end.
Yeah, no, and then it is a grind, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you didn't play in the WHL, right? You went NCAA route.
Yeah, and it's, like in junior hockey in general is a grind. There's, you're traveling during the week. Like they played in PG. They got in at, 7 a.m. the next day after the game. And then, okay, get up and you play Wednesday. So it's definitely a change in the amount of games you play from U18. But it also sets you up for, the professional life and the competitiveness. And, there's not a lot of forgiveness in that league. You make a mistake and sometimes it's in the back of your net. In the NHL, it's the same thing, but it's magnified 10 times. So, but it's been a great experience for both of them, and they're enjoying it. And if this is what they, I was just talking about it with the parent in there, and if this is what they truly love to do, you have to go through the good and bad, and that's part of it.
Now, you were scouting for the Habs for a while. How did you like the scouting game?
You know what? Yeah, I have a appreciation for what those guys do and the amount of hours that you spent in a rink, but it wasn't for me. I'm more of a guy that likes to get on the ice with the kids and work with them on skill development and breaking down film and saying, okay, this is an aspect of the game that I'd like you to work on, and then how do you incorporate that into a small area game or a small surface area where, okay, you need to mimic this and make it game-like, and then have that transfer from practice into a game so that when they actually do it, it's just muscle memory and they just, it's habit. And then they don't have to think about it. They just know because they've done it so many times, right?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So,
Pisey, always good to catch up with you, buddy. Thanks for stopping in, Roland.
Well, thanks for moving the banana from the seat so I didn't sit on it. So I appreciate that.
Always got to eat healthy, buddy. Always got to eat healthy. So that's good. I like it.
Right.
Should go give Struddy some fashion sense.
Yeah, I know.
He probably took a picture though. You're wearing that sweater. He might have stolen it from you.
I know. I was kind of feeling dapper today. So.
Yeah, it's dressed good. It's nice. So it's always good to see you, buddy.
Okay, thanks, man. Take care.
There you go. That's Fernando Pisani, of course, former Edmonton Oiler, and joining us here at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. Like I said, man, there's lots of people walking by. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hear ye, hear ye. Dragon fruit has returned to Booster Juice. Prepare thyself for the legendary alchemy of the Dragon Slayer smoothie, Pink Dragon Booster Mixer, and Dragon Booster Balls. Yeah. Does the dragon taste like chicken? Nay, Booster Juice uses only delicious tropical dragon fruit. No dragons are harmed. Get thee to Booster Juice before dragon fruit vanishes once more.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app.
Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Clear out the old and make room for new trends. The Brick is holding their store-wide inventory clearance event. Scratch and dent, last year's models, and overstock is up to 70% off. Score mattresses starting at just $99, sofas starting at just $399, and dining chairs starting at just $28. And this Friday to Monday, check out incredible 4-day deals, like save the tax when you buy 2 or more eligible major appliances. Check out The Brick in Edmonton with 4 locations. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Riverside Honda, 59 years in counting as St. Albert and surrounding areas' premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. It's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Awesome Friday continues on. We're live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. It's great. We gotta go. I gotta have to go check out. Maybe I have to film Struddy on the bench. Oh God, I want just the power alleys. Holy cow! I wonder how much they can see them from up here. That'll be fantastic. So it'll be great. Quick. Let's get to 5 questions now. Brought to you by The Brick. Furniture, mattresses, appliances, big screen TVs, and of course, home to the ultimate bachelor leather couch. If you know, you know. The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1, 2 games for the Oil this weekend. How many points will they come away with?
Oh, good question. Like they can't lose in Vancouver, can they? I look at I'll say 3. I think they'll win in Vancouver and they'll lose in overtime against St. Louis / shootout.
All right. I'll be overly optimistic. 4 points, big win in Vancouver, and a big enough win where they can rest some of their players in the third period. Question number 2 for you. With News becoming the first Oiler to play his first 1,000 games in Edmonton, how many and who do you think joins him in the next 5 to 10 years?
Question. Well, looking at the games played, Leon Draisaitl for sure. He's the no-brainer one. He'll join him. I was looking at McDavid because, he's got this year and next year, so it comes in around 190 games, which wouldn't put him at 1,000 yet, so he'd need another contract. It's not 100% sure. I still think there's a good chance. So I'll say Draisaitl and McDavid, though. Those are probably the 2. I have a sneaking suspicion Nurse might get traded in the next 2 years.
Yeah. How about Bouchard? Think he gets there?
Well, it all depends, right? Like if McDavid stays, then you sign again. But if McDavid doesn't, and depends where the team goes, then you might have guys leaving. So yeah, Bouchard's a little bit harder at this stage because what has he played? 300 games?
Like 395, I believe.
Yeah, so you got a lot. Like that's 600 games, man. Like a lot of things gotta go right there to get sick. You're talking like almost what is that? Like almost 8 seasons. So.
Question number 3 for you. Dodgers continuing to bring in the big names. If you had to pick right now, would you take them or the field to win the World Series?
Well, I'm taking the field just out of spite. You know what? Like it's within the rules. They're not doing anything that's illegal. I don't think it's great for that game. And man, hey, the Blue Jays gave them everything they had. And I would argue the Jays team might be just as good, if not better, than the one last year. So I'll take the field because, injuries, lots of things could come into play here. The Dodgers were pretty banged up last year, if you recall. So, who knows? But I will take the field.
Yeah, I think that's always the smart bet. I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I mean, if they get back to where they were last year, and then you get to the playoffs and you've got Ohtani, Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow in that rotation, like I think that's just so tough. And sure, they could fall, but if I had to pick right now, the Dodgers would be my odds-on favorite. Question number 4 for you. Who are your picks to win this weekend in the NFL?
And that Broncos-Bills game I've been flip-flopping over that because me and my son have a little fun pick 'em thing we do at home. I will take I'm going with the Bills on the road. I think I know that that's an upset. So got to pick an upset. I'll take the Bills. I'm taking the Patriots at home. I'm taking the Seahawks and the Rams.
Yeah, I'll take the Bills as well. I will take the Seahawks. I will take the Texans on the road. And yeah, I got to go with the Rams as well. It's going to be cold, but the Rams play.
I really want the Bears to win.
Yeah,
I really do.
It'd be exciting, but I think the Rams find a way to get that one done. And a final question for you. It was on this day in 2005, the 62nd Golden Globe, some great movies winning awards. Give me your top 3 movies from the year 2005.
Go ahead.
2005 was the year I graduated high school. So there's a few I do remember. One, I'll say honorable mention would go to Wedding Crashers as well as Lords of Dogtown. But my top 3 that I liked back then, I loved 40-Year-Old Virgin. Thought that was absolutely hilarious. Sin City, the movies they were doing back then, like I thought Sin City was always really cool. And King Kong, I don't know if you remember that one with Jack Black and those guys. I don't know if the special effects have held up, but watching that movie in theater, I thought it was absolutely awesome. So those would be my top 3.
All right. I did. Hey, Wedding Crashers was very good. I'm actually going Coach Carter. I quite like that show. And to be honest, I didn't watch it at the time, Cons, but I've watched it a lot since. Madagascar is it wasn't my favorite at the time. I obviously didn't watch till I had a son, but I actually quite like Madagascar. Like there's a few of those animated movies that you get on board with, and I quite like that. And 40-Year-Old Virgin, man, hilarious movie. So hard not to like that one. So I don't even know what one movie the year that year. I don't even know. You know?
No, could find it.
Oh, all right. I don't remember half the time, like every time those awards come out, I'm taking notes. I'm like, what's this movie? And then I always wonder, like some of these movies that won best movie, I'm like, well, for what? Like, I don't know. There's been a few that are questionable. For me anyway, like, and obviously I have different taste, not Mr. Artistic. I don't know, but sometimes you see these, the movies, then you're kind of like, was it that good? Like, I don't know about you, but like, obviously some years they're unbelievable, but then other years you're kind of like, I'm not sold that, like, I think was it Coda? And I'm kind of like, what? I did not like that movie at all.
So the Aviator won that, for the Golden Globes.
Yeah. The Aviator one?
For best drama, best musical comedy was Sideways, best actor, Leonardo DiCaprio, actress Hilary Swank for $1 Million Baby.
That was a good movie.
That was a great movie.
Really
yeah.
good movie. Yeah. So,
but yeah, I'm with you. Sometimes the movie comes out, I'm like, yeah, maybe I don't get cinema or art, but sometimes it's like, yeah, that's not for me.
Yeah. All right. We'll return. Mark Spector, Low Tide will join us. I think it's intermission of the game here. Lots of games going on, of course. 3 rinks, so tons of action. If you want to see some great hockey, stop in at the John Reed this weekend, of course. We'll take a quick sports update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Mike and the gang, hope you all have a great weekend. And if you're out looking for a vehicle, stop in, because remember that they help feed families when you buy a vehicle through NorthgateGM.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
5 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. You got the Red Wings and Sharks, Panthers in Carolina. Blues host the Lightning, Preds taking on the Avs and the Ducks in Los Angeles. In the association, Toronto Raptors hosting the Clippers. Tip-off in this one set for 5:30. In the WHL, the Edmonton Oil Kings are on the road, taking on the Medicine Hat Tigers at 7. In the AJ, you've got 4 games, including Drayton Valley and Whitecourt, and the Kodiaks up against the Bobcats. And PWHL action, New York hosting Minnesota at 5. Down to the Drake this weekend, Golden Bears hosting Regina, 7 p.m. both nights. Pandas on the road, taking on Regina tonight and tomorrow. And at the Saville Center, you got Bears and Pandas hosting Manitoba. Some news from the majors in case you missed it. Bo Bichette's time with the Jays coming to an end as the 27-year-old shortstop signing a 3-year contract with the New York Mets worth $126 million. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell, host of The Lowdown with Bowtide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
New Year's resolutions. We all make them. We all say we're going to start eating healthier or going to the gym or starting that new hobby. But at GS Construction, we actually follow through on our New Year's resolution because it's the same every year. We promise to set the groundwork, literally, for another year of progress and growth. And we've stuck by that resolution since 1974. So start that all-you-can-eat diet. GS Construction is going to start planning right now for the year ahead. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Oodle Noodle Origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Happy New Year. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for everything in 2025. With your help and your support, we fed almost 500 families. We donated to various charities in the Edmonton area, and we're going to do it again in 2026. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country, made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action.
Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert. And always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Made it through another week, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Got a lot. If you're a sports fan, you have no shortage of sporting opportunities to partake in. Edmonton Minor Hockey Week, of course, semifinals and finals going on. Good luck to all those teams. We are live here at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. You want to check that out through tonight and the weekend. You have Oil Kings tomorrow. You have NLL back in Edmonton tonight. The Swarm and the Roughnecks. If you want to get your tickets for lacrosse, I'm telling you, if you've never been to a lacrosse game, I'd recommend going. It is awesome. Also, the Oilers are on the road in Vancouver tomorrow night, and then home for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' 1,000th game. And congratulations to Bill, because he's the winner. and he's going to be going. So congratulations to Bill. Some great seats to watch Nugent Hopkins with the ceremony. Remember, that game's at 6 o'clock on Saturday. Let's get to 5 questions now. The Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. And they're always hiring. Looking for fantastic people. If you're looking for not just a job, but a career opportunity, they love promoting from within. Apply today at gsconstruction.com. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, down at the Johnny Reed, are you? Up St. Albert?
I am, yes. It's
always an excellent tournament. Lots of junior scouts there and people walking around, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, man. It's there's tons of scouts actually. Yeah. So pretty much every time they're like the period or something ends, they come around. Sometimes they're moving around. There's 3 rinks here, so they're jumping from one to another to see a lot of the different teams. And there are there's obviously some very exciting young players playing in this, and it's exciting for the players and the kids, and it's been around for such a long time. Yep. The organizers do a great job. It's top notch in how it's run, and I know the kids and the teams and everybody very much appreciates. So it's some great hockey too if you want to come see it. So it's a good time. The Oilers, Spec, and they played pretty great hockey, especially in the second and third period. They just couldn't score, and really they couldn't beat the goalpost.
Yeah, listen, you can't ask your team, you can't be mad at your team or say, oh, we didn't play well, or completely outplayed the other team. Where was the shots in the second and third? When I left the rink, they were 24-6. They might have revised the score sheet as they do overnight, but either way, I mean, they crushed them in the second and third period. A couple of posts that, you just never see, like the Bouchard post that the ref thought it was in. You almost never see a puck hit that sharply and not go in. And the other thing you never see is Draisaitl miss that open net. He just never does it. So, listen, some nights you get those games, and the Oilers got one last night. They did get goalied, but they also missed some open nets that Sorokin had nothing to do with.
Yeah, 27-6 were the shots in the second and the third period.
27-6 now, okay?
27-6. Oh, no, sorry, that's terrible math on my part. Because it was 12-12 after the first period and ended up 35-18. So 6 and 23-6. Yeah, that's
23-6. So it was 24-6 when I left the rink last night. But like I say, usually you wake up and the shot counts have changed.
Yeah, they review every shot now. There's no, they don't take it lightly. Every shot, it used to be if a goalie make a save with his glove and it was outside the goal post, that was considered a shot on goal. Now it's not, in case anybody's wondering how they change it or review it, but that's what they did. The Oilers now, Spec, I'd mentioned it that I don't expect Ingram to go down. I'd be surprised if he did. And I think the Oilers, this is the weekend to use your 3 goalies to your advantage. You send Jari and Pickard to Vancouver, and you keep Ingram back home with a JW, and then he plays against St. Louis on Sunday.
Yeah. Baseball teams have done this for years and years and years and years, right? When they play the third or fourth, the final game of a set in a city, they send the starting pitcher for the next game either home or to the next city that they're starting in. And that guy gets a good sleep in a hotel, and he wakes up in the town, and he doesn't fly late or in the morning with the team. Baseball teams been doing this with starting pitchers for forever. And the reason hockey teams don't is because you don't usually carry more than 2 goalies. So, there's a yin and a yang here. Carrying 3 goalies, we could sit here for 10 minutes and talk about the negatives, but the one positive comes this weekend and this season. There's lots of back-to-backs, right? So sure, absolutely. One guy, the guy who starts Sunday, isn't going to Vancouver. Should be no question about that.
Yeah. To me, it's kind of use it to your advantage. Why not? And I don't see the big deal. It's probably going to suck for Calvin Pickard. He's probably going to be the guy who's not playing very many games, because after this weekend, they don't have a back-to-back until those 2 games against Toronto and Calgary before they go on the Olympic break. So, you're playing every second day, sometimes third day, that you only really need 2 goalies. So, he'll practice, and you don't have to make a decision until Adam Henrique returns. Yeah. And that won't be until after the Olympic break. And that's really 40 days from now, Spec, when you think about it, right? Because there's 15 days now. They're back on the 24th. So that's the 23rd, whenever they have to restart the roster. So you got 40 days to see what happens. Maybe there's injuries, maybe there's trades. There's lots of different things between now and then. It just Ingram, the way he played again last night, Spec, there's no way you could send him down to the minors. Like, there's just no way you could do it as an organization.
Yeah, he's played himself to the point, and I said over the past couple of weeks that I would certainly consider sending him to the minors for sure. But my theory was basically he needs to play and he needs to go down there and keep building his game. I think he's past that. He's shown us that he's got an NHL game here, and there's, you know, what he needs is to play in the NHL. So, you know, the only pinch point is it's a salary cap deal. When Henry comes back, that's going to be a problem unless someone else gets hurt, right? Unless someone else gets hurt. And the way it's going this year for this team and pretty much every other is, I'm knocking wood when I say it, but someone else is going to get hurt here between now and, you know, between the day that you have to activate Henrique. So I guess you just kick the can down the road. You go with 3 guys, and everybody understands why you're doing it. And frankly, it's out of respect for Calvin Pickard. If you thought Calvin Pickard was just some, you know, very average goalie that no one wanted, you just put him on waivers. But the reason you're not doing it is because you're afraid someone's going to pick him up, because as a backup, it's a pretty good backup, right?
Yeah, well, the Philadelphia Flyers, Dan Vladar injured, Urson hadn't played well. To me, they would have been a no-brainer to claim Pickard. You know, and he's extremely popular guy in the room. He's a good teammate, all that stuff. Keep it light. But in the meantime, you know what? He'll do his best to stay here. And who knows, like, the Philadelphia Flyers need a goalie today, Spec. But if Dan Vladar is out for let's even say 3 weeks, the way Urson's played, their playoff hopes are done in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah,
because Urson has not been good. He gave up 6 last night to Pittsburgh again, and I don't see it changing, man, suddenly for the Philadelphia Flyers. So they've been battling, but now they've lost 4 in a row, 3 of them with Vladar in net. That if he's out for, even if he's only out till the start of the Olympic break, that's another 3 weeks, Spec, and they could be out of the race by then.
Oh, for sure. Listen, Vladar has always been a really good backup. That's what he was in Calgary. He was a good backup, right? And a nice backup, like he could back up for any goalie in the league. I'm not sure anyone was ever sold on him being a number 1 goalie that's going to bring, you know, a fairly average team in Philly, like an outside the playoffs team, and going to carry him into the playoffs. I don't see any evidence in Dan Vladar's career that tells me he was that guy. Now, you know, I guess the Flyers are where they are. You know, they're kicking around a playoff spot, but they don't scare anybody. Now you lose Vladar, and they got nobody behind them. Kolosov, the third goalie, he can't play, I don't think. And Ersson hasn't proven that he's an NHL goalie, really. Certainly nothing more than a backup. So, yeah, they're in trouble. But I'm not sure how that involves Edmonton. Like, okay, so let's play. I'm Danny Briere. I'm screwed. I don't have a goalie. Am I going out and finding Calvin Pickard and telling everyone that's solving my problems, Jay? I don't think I am. If I'm in a goalie hunt to save my playoff life, I'm probably looking for someone with a little more pedigree, aren't I?
Yeah, it probably would have been, though, just like a temporary fix, right? Like, you pick the guy up on waivers, you might only keep him for 2 weeks because it's better than Kolosov. That's what I think it would have been, right?
So he's better than Kolosov. He's better than Ersson, right?
Oh,
Pickard's better than Ersson.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure he's much worse than Vladar, to be honest with you.
Oh, no, Dan Vladar's been really good this year for Philadelphia, man. Like, really good. And, like, beyond good. If you look at his underlying numbers and the adjusted save percentage, like, Kevin Woodley's talked about it. He's like, man, like, Vladar's done better than he thought. Like, he has not played like a backup. He's the main reason that Philadelphia was in the playoffs as long as they were. They've fallen out now, and I wonder how far they'll fall, because you could lose 4 in a row in the East and fall from 9th place down to 15th pretty quickly, because it's so tight, right? The Oilers tomorrow, Spec, they're taking on a Vancouver Canucks team that's lost 9 in a row. They haven't won yet in 2026. They're getting spanked. Their penalty kills 50% here in 2026, allowing 9 goals on 18 chances. And I know the Oilers are a little fatigued. It's their 5th game in 5 different cities and in 7 nights. So I understand all that, but that's a game you got to find a way to win tomorrow night. Like, it's just, they haven't been able to win yet at home other than the 1 game against Nashville. You know, they're 1 out of 5 games. You got to win this game in Vancouver, because it's the one place they've been good on the road. They're 2-0-1 in 2026.
Yeah, the this whole we got to make hay at home thing, it really, they haven't made any hay at home so far in January, right? Their record here, who's the only team? They beat Nashville at home. Have they beaten anybody else at home here?
No.
Yeah, they haven't. So, okay, so they had a road trip in there, and like those games, you can't get them back. They now have, after the Vancouver game, how many in a row do they have at home? Like 7?
Yeah, I think it's actually 8. 7.
Maybe 8. So this is the moment. This is the moment. You got to go on to Vancouver, win a hockey game, because Vancouver's just, what did McClellan used to say? Red rotten, right? They can't get out of their own way, man. They're not only aren't they a good team, they're completely demoralized. Like they don't think they can win. That's where the Canucks are at right now. It's sad, and it's not, no one loves watching it. And I always say that the league's a better place when the Canucks are good, and when the Oilers and Canucks are, like that playoff series a couple of years ago was as much fun as we've had in a long time. But right now, the Canucks they're already making travel plans for the summer, man. So you got to win the game. You got to beat the Canucks of the world anytime, every time, wherever you play them. And after that, set the table for some work on home ice, like the 7 or 8 games at home. This is a huge, huge part of their season. It's a big part. They paid their dues in the first half, waiting for this moment, and they've already kind of frittered away a bunch of home games here. They got to turn that home thing around, and it starts with walking into that St. Louis game on Sunday off a win in Vancouver on Saturday. No question.
Yeah, and you look at the at the Oilers. Obviously, there's going to be the goaltending change here for these games back. Do you what do you do with Mangiapane here this weekend? Do you play him?
I don't know. What do you do with him? Back to back. I think you have an NHL player there. It's not a guy that can't play the game. I think you should use a fresh set of legs in a back to back, don't you?
Yeah, probably. I guess it's back to back, and it's also 6 game in 9 days, right? So
yeah.
I could see someone. You got to figure out who it is, and away you go. It's the thing is, though, the guy that he takes out, Spec, probably isn't tired, because the guy you're taking out is only playing 10 minutes a night.
Well, there is that, but there is the dynamic of, if I don't get it done, I might come out of the lineup, and there's probably about 3 or 4 guys I can think of in the lineup that are in the mix on that that Mangiapane would replace. And I don't mind that. I don't mind a guy knowing that that there might be a seat in the press box for him if he doesn't produce. That doesn't hurt me as a coach. I think that probably helps me. And Mangiapane, I know he hasn't been any good. I get it. But every night in the press box, I don't think he needs to spend every night in the press box. I think you got to give him a chance to get his game going too, just like you're giving Howard a chance and you're giving Frederick a chance. Why does the Mangiapane get a chance? Maybe one of these guys will crack and start doing something.
Yeah. Spec, I said it yesterday that I could understand if the coach, you want to ride out the McDavid point streak, but the minute it ended, I would consider moving Nugent Hopkins to center. Now, he does have game 99 and game 1000, so maybe, I don't know, maybe now's not the time either, but Roslovic at center, has been okay. I'd like to see Nuge as the third line center. Do you think they do it?
I know you'd like to see him there. I guess part of me says a team coming off a game where they didn't score any goals, that is their best line. I'm not sure I'm breaking up my most dangerous line against Vancouver. Let's look at their lineup tomorrow. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't know if anyone's hurt or what's going on, but I don't see it tomorrow night, Jay.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess I don't see a guy in Knobloch that wants to put Nugent Hopkins at center, or he would have probably found a place to do it already. No.
Yeah. Well, he's talked about it lots earlier in the year, and then McDavid, they got him that heater, so I can understand why he didn't do it then. But I just wonder if this opens up the door to see Nuge at center. That's all. Because I honestly believe McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, if that's your 1, 2, 3 center, I like that.
Pretty good up the middle.
All right. Now, I know that people talking about some other centers, okay, but I think Nuge plays better as a center, and he's not overly productive as a left winger. So if he's my third line center, and I know people he's not great in the dot. Well, he hasn't taken as many faceoffs this year, so I understand it. But if Henrique's back in the lineup, or Lazar or whoever, you've got other guys who can take faceoffs, right? Like Nugent Hopkins on the penalty kill lots. He doesn't take the faceoff, but he's on the penalty kill. So he doesn't have to take the faceoff to, you could have on his strong side, he's pretty good. He's not great on his backside, so that's fine. So, but I can play a right, like Trent Frederick, if you have to, as a right shot, Curtis Lazar, Adam Henrique's good on all sides. Like, you have other options if you have to for the odd faceoff, if that's your big concern.
That's just
even.
Sure. The odd face-off. I'm not. Listen, Nuge is never going to be, Patrice Bergeron in the circle. He's been around now for 1,000 games. I think we're pretty sure on tiny player Ryan Nugent Hopkins is, right. No more surprises. I guess I just don't see a coaching staff that's dying to do it, or it would have. To me, it would have happened already. I know you want them to do it. I'm not so sure they want to do it. And maybe what you need is an injury at center. Maybe an injury at center is the impetus to make that move. And if he has a good game or 2 games or whatever it is, maybe that's it. But so far, even with Henrique out, we have not seen that move.
Yeah. Spec, have a good weekend. Enjoy the NFL. Enjoy the Oilers, lacrosse, Oil Kings, big weekend. So have fun. We'll talk to you on Monday.
All right. Lots going on, man. Have a great weekend, everybody.
There you go. It's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Will return. LT will join us. We got more live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. It's the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
I skipped breakfast this morning. Stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars, packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
That sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back. You make good choices.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Clear out the old and make room for new trends. The Brick is holding their store-wide inventory clearance event. Scratch and dent, last year's models, and overstock is up to 70% off. Score mattresses starting at just $99. Sofas starting at just $3.99, and dining chairs starting at just $28. And this Friday to Monday, check out incredible 4-day deals, like save the tax when you buy 2 or more eligible major appliances. Check out the Brick in Edmonton with 4 locations. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Just Jasper Ave and 118th.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor Special. Enjoy 20% off any regular menu order price when you use promo code Gregor at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
527 rolling through. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Welcome back. Busy Friday show. Man, if you missed anything, you can go to jasongregor.com. All the individual interviews are there, or anywhere where you get your podcast, or you can rewatch the show on YouTube or Facebook. So check it out. Always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, and they are playing lots of games here at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. Continues on tonight. Of course, then you get into the playoff rounds tomorrow, and the final goes on Sunday, which is great. It's like some really quality hockey going on here, and we see OHA Edmonton kind of spanking Okanagan right now, and the game of the night so far is Red Deer and OHC Colorado tied at 3 going into the third period. So that's the big one to watch. Tomorrow has the round robin that goes up. Well, not the round robin, but you get into like the top 2 teams in each pool make the playoffs, and there's 4 pools. So you got the 8 teams, and then they rock and roll from there, and then you've got the consolation, but then you'll get to the finals that come up on at 2:00 on Sunday. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Guys, I've said for years the Oilers won't win the Cup until Nuge is the third-line center from Andreas. Hey, Greg's, at what point is Connor Ingram exposed to waivers? They would have to waive him tomorrow. That's the time he does it. So I guess Sunday. Sunday is the initial time that he would require waivers, but the Oilers aren't sending him down. So Connor Ingram will be here, and I think he's here to stay this season. Eventually, he'll probably be moving out of the hotel. That's what I'll say about Connor Ingram. As we welcome in, we get to the Oil Report, brought to you by Go Auto, your place if you're looking for vehicles. GoAuto.ca, 15,000 to choose from, and man, they give tons back to the community. They've helped donate $25 million where they live and work. That's GoAuto.ca. As Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown, noon until 2 weekdays here on Sports 1440, joins us. LT, how are you?
I'm good. How long have you been? How many years have you been broadcasting from there? I always enjoy the broadcasts from the rink, and I know it's been several years now.
I want to say I've been at the John Reed since 2017. I think this might be the 10th year we've been here.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Going back to time on at the old station, then obviously this is third year in a row that we've been here now in 1440. So it's a lot of fun. I've met lots of people over the years at this tournament, and it's a big deal for the community of St. Albert, of course, but it's a big deal for a lot of the local teams and a lot of the local players. They want to play in this tournament, and scouts come here, and you see a lot of the GMs every year. So it's fun, and lots of guys that you've seen. Like I knew guys when they were scouts or assistant GMs that have now worked their way up into GM jobs, which is always great to see. So I like that. So it's a lot of fun, man. It's a great tournament. Like there's some really good hockey around here. At every commercial break, I kind of jump up and I'll go watch a few periods. Actually, almost missed the break in the 4 o'clock because I got talking. But it's some really good hockey out there, man. The kids are going. It's fun. It's very entertaining. So
I know there's been like 150 kids who've ended up playing in the NHL. It's it's a big deal. I don't think we promote in Canada well enough to, especially in Edmonton. It is just an absolute hotbed of hockey.
Oh, buddy, yeah, there is. Well said. There's so many different players and so many different skill players at different levels going to NCAA and WHL and BCHL. And on to U Sport, and then minor pro, and obviously some of the real exceptional ones make it all the way to the NHL, which is pretty sweet. The Oilers last night, LT, like there's not, it's not like they gave up a bad goal. It's you give up one goal and the power play is a pretty nice passing play. The Oilers power play, they created some really good looks, and they either couldn't beat Sorokin or they couldn't beat the goalpost. Like the Draisaitl one, even the Bouchard one. Both of those on most nights would be goals.
Yeah, it was. There's a phrase, "Stuff happens," although it's not stuff. But and I think that's why. Like you play that game again, and the Oilers win it 1-0. I think it was a really well played game. It was more wide open than most 1-0 games are. There are lots of chances. I thought the Oilers played well, and I think that I was especially impressed with the challenge on the penalty. That took a lot of gumption from Chris Knoploch. And I like the third line. They're not very big. I worry about they're going to have to add somebody bigger on that line, but they had a lot of chances. They had a lot of chances, and that's what you want. I really like Connor Ingram. I'm very impressed with him, and I like stat. There's a lot about that game to like, and I know it's a 1-0 win, but it's a long year, and I'll tell you, they've had some victories that you've gotten less out of in terms of encouraging play. Than that loss last night. That was a fun game to watch. And for old-timey guys like me, a 1-0 game is always fun.
Well, a 1-0 game, I was watching the first period. I'm like, this is the most entertaining 0-0 game I've seen all year. Like it was 0-0, not because of lack of chances. It was 0-0 because both goalies played very well, Alan. There was lots of chances. Now, the Islanders didn't have any chances after the first period, and the Oilers really took over, but like just the puck movement, the puck possession at times. I love the creativity in the offensive zone, especially in the first period from both teams. And then in the second and third, really from the Oilers. And young Matthew Schaefer, an 18-year-old defenseman now. You and I have watched a lot of hockey over the years. Like, this kid is the real deal. There's no doubt in my mind. And when I watch him, and you see just like the sheer size of an 18-year-old. He's a little bit slender than most guys. Like, wait till this guy is 22, 23, 24. He's already unreal. He's going to be an absolute dominant defenseman when he adds a little bit more weight and size on him. It's going to be freakish.
Yeah, you can, like, we're just getting the tip of the iceberg here. His skating is just beyond the realm of what we can imagine, and he's going to fill out. He's going to become a different looking player, but the impact that he's having, you look at the numbers, and this is this is freakish. And I honestly don't know how anybody could watch him and not think, my God, Calder Trophy winner. I feel bad because it's a great year for in that race, but I just watched this guy and I'm like, he's out of the box. He's just a kid, for crying out loud, and he's able to play at this level. That's a very rare thing, to be able to play defense at this level at 18. There's no higher league, Jason. This is it, and he is really going to be a monster.
Yeah, no, 100%. Al, I had said it, and so I'll keep pounding the drum. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But I'd like to see Nugent Hopkins as the 3C. And I think the team might be better off for it. Now, Roslovic, I really liked with Draisaitl and Podkolzin, right? Not that I haven't liked Kapanen. So my question to you, Alex, if you move Nugent Hopkins to center, is it just you put Roslovic up on the first line? Do you put Ike Howard on the first line? Maybe you move Kapanen to play with Nugent Hopkins. So as you mentioned, there's a little bit of size on that line. What would you do when everyone, like, would you move Nugent Hopkins to try him down the middle here at the 3C spot?
It's inevitable because people keep saying, well, he'll get lost. No, he won't. They roll three lines all the time, and they say, well, he can't drive a line. If he plays 3C, Jason, it's not like when they double up Draisaitl and McDavid. No. He'll be playing softer minutes. Nugent Hopkins, you give him Kapanen and somebody on the left wing, and I don't know who it would be, but if you give him two NHL wingers, they could dominate that. And I like the Roslovic idea because he's got real touch, and he did have some chemistry earlier. And as far as the kids are concerned, you can break them in, we give them a few shifts a game, or sometimes move them up, or if there's a penalty or whatever, somebody's hurt, there'll be opportunities during the second half of the year. I wouldn't force that. I think they're doing fine. I think Savoy and Ike Howard have played pretty well on that third line. They're getting 9 or 10 minutes a night. They're not scoring yet, but it's coming. It'll come. And I think, they haven't forced their way offensively up to a bigger line. So I'd run with Roslovic, and I'd move Nugent Hopkins down to third line center, and I'd find a bigger winger for him, and then maybe one of the kids.
Yeah, I'm not sure come playoff time, to be honest, if both Savoy and Howard are regulars in your lineup every night in the playoffs. I agree with that. I'm not sold on that. And that's not a knock on the players. It's just a knock on the difference. Not even a knock. It's just the reality of the difference of the NHL playoffs. And it's a grind. I know Dallas had or Carolina had two rookies in their lineup last year, and Blake and the guy they got in the Rantanen trade, Stankoven, right? Yeah. And so, that's okay. But They didn't make it to the Cup final, right? And they were complimentary guys, which would be the same thing here, which is fine for rookie players. But I don't know if that's a realistic idea, right? Because let's just say, okay, we move Nuge to third line center, Rosovic goes to the first line. Okay, I don't know if you're doing Nugent Hopkins down the middle with Howard and Savoy, right? Like, I wonder, and I don't know if he's ready yet or not, Al, but I wonder if Ike Howard gets a game or two on the first. Like, I'm not sold that he's a first line player in the playoffs, but I could try it, especially at home coming up here with all these. So, and even Vancouver, no offense, they're terrible right now. Like, Ike Howard can play first line against Vancouver. I could try it for the next 9 or 10 games.
Well, if they feel like if he's ready to like pounce on it, then great. But going back to the playoff thing. I think Holloway got a lot of games, and he had like maybe 10 to 12 minutes. But Holloway was a different kind of player. He could play. He was a bigger guy, and I think the coach trusted him a little more. That might happen with one of them, like with Savoy playing a depth role. But you go into the playoffs with 2 rookies, and that means like your fourth line have to be the penalty killers, and it kind of from a roster point of view, unless they're really established, then it's going to limit you in what you can do. And a fourth line rookie isn't going to play much. So I think that if they play 25 games during the playoffs, maybe Howard gets 6 or 7, and maybe 12 or 14 for Savoy. I don't see both of them playing every night though.
Yeah. I'm curious about it. I still believe Nugent Hopkins plays better as a center. And if he's a 3C, that's a pretty good depth thing. And I also think Edmonton needs to acquire a top 6 left winger. Easier said than done, but that's something that they need. Looking on the back end, Al, we saw Wallman and Nurse played a few shifts in the game together. Then you had Wallman with Stastny, Emberson with Nurse. Obviously I asked Jake Wallman after the game. He feels that he still needs a few more games to really get back up to speed. He's felt okay, and so that's probably playing a part in it. But ultimately, do you think that Wallman ends up back with Nurse when it's all said and done?
Yeah, I do, and the reason why is that I just think that Emberson has really made some nice progress here, and he and Stastny could be a really good third pairing. I like both of those players, and I just think that this defense is maturing a little bit. Nothing against Alec Regula, but I think that he's definitely the 7th D on this team. Stetcher's gone. Emberson has stepped up, and I think that he and Stastny could be more than adequate as a third pair. Now, there's going to be injuries and guys banged up and all that, but I'd like to run. You mentioned about running 10 games or whatever with Howard. I'd like to see Nurse and Wallman run for 10, 12 games just to see what kind of success they have when they're comfortable with each other. They know where each other are, and having a really strong veteran second pair for the playoffs could be huge.
Oh yeah, no question about it. Quickly moving to the NFL, Al. The Bills and the Broncos, Seahawks, and the 49ers. Who do you like on Saturday?
I'll go Seahawks, and I've been brainwashed by Declan, but I think Buffalo wins. I think it's going to be a really fun game, though. The playoff weather games, and I'm hoping we get a lot of them this weekend. Man, they're a blast. So I think the Bills will win, and the Seahawks as well.
Yeah. All right. And then what about Sunday? Rams, Bears, and the Patriots taking on the Houston Texans.
I think the Bears win, but I think the Patriots win over the Texans. The experts tell me Houston's going to win, but I think this Patriots team is going to surprise. So I think it's going to be Patriots, Bills, and then Bears, Seahawks in the next weekend.
All right, Al, have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy the football, the hockey, the lacrosse, everything. It's going on. It's a busy weekend, and we will chat with you on Monday. All
right. Be good, boys. Thank you.
There you go. That's Al Mitchell, a.k.a. Low Tide. You can listen to him noon to 2 on Sports 1440. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up. This very busy Friday edition of the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament here in Service Place in St. Albert. Of course, all the playoff action will get going tomorrow, and then the finals on Sunday. If you're looking for some great hockey, check it out this weekend for the John Reed Memorial Tournament.
When the ground freezes, you wonder how anything can get done. And instead of staying outside in temperatures that would make a polar bear cry, you head inside where it's toasty and warm. But that's not what GS Construction does, because while the ground freezes above, we plan below, rebuilding and revitalizing the systems that keep our communities working year after year. Now, don't worry. GS Construction promises to do everything safely and efficiently, and we'll wear our extra warm clothing outside. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen. At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and even though it's a few months past Thanksgiving, I want to give thanks right now. This is the time of year when so many people go to the new RV show and buy their new RVs.
All the new RV stores are bragging about the latest makes and models.
That's right, Bob. Those beautiful state-of-the-art RVs are brand new right up until the time they leave the showroom. Then they're used. Just like every quality used RV on our lot. Somebody pays full price at the RV show or at the new RV store, and in a matter of seconds, it's worth tens of thousands of dollars less just because they picked it up.
Where does all that money go, Rick?
It stays in our customers' pockets, Bob, because we sell those same RVs just a few years later. If it wasn't for new RV buyers, we'd be out of business. That's why we give thanks every year. You make it all possible.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Hockeyology. Keep your game sharp all season long at 01. An advanced skating mill, classes to enhance shooting, stick handling, and more. Sign up today at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Time flies by as we roll through here on Sports 1440, wrapping things up. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, you can get in tonight. Lotto Max, $10 million up for grabs. You also have, of course, lots of options this weekend, NFL, NHL. You can get it all at PlayAlberta.ca. We are live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament, which is continuing on all weekend. And Strutty, big win for old Strutty, and I think that qualifies them for the playoffs tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So there you go, just another great example of overcoming average coaching. I like it. My team does it all the time. So, few other texts to get to, 833-401-1440, 1440. Hey, guys, a few things. First, is it safe to say Lazar has earned himself a permanent roster spot? He had another good game, and I'm loving that line. Second, where'd the Sabres come from out of nowhere? They're 3-4 points behind Montreal. Is this the year they finally make the playoffs? And third, I hate the Dodgers even more now. They're like the spoiled rich kids at the MLB. Enjoy the weekend from JC. Well, JC, you're definitely not alone in the last one. I think there's a lot of people kind of sick of it. Like, they're like, hey, spend to a point. But even then, everybody has a point, and it seemed like Tucker put him over. Man, the Sabres are kind of playing up to their expectations finally this year. They were supposed to be a team that would battle for the wild card spot. Now, they dug themselves a pretty big hole, but they played excellent since. And, like, look at that Josh Jones trade. It's worked out. Him and Peterka have even amount of points, but then if Kesselring stays healthy, Buffalo's winning that trade. So it's a good trade for them. Tage Thompson is rolling. Hat trick last night. Another 5-point game for Tage Thompson. And, Alex Line was playing great. Then he got banged up. UPL's done well. Ellis got the win last night. So they're getting lots of different guys show up goaltending-wise. They got a solid team. I like their defense score, right? Like, Dahlin's a legit number one. And Powers played better. So I think Buffalo can compete with Boston, and they can compete with Montreal, and they can compete with Detroit, and they can compete with Pittsburgh and Washington for the wild card. So I think they're right in there. Lazar is definitely on your roster now. Is he an every night guy? Well, he is now for the next 6 weeks for sure, and then we'll kind of see from there. But yeah, I've liked Lazar. He early on in the year he looked a little bit slower, and I talked to Curtis about it, and he just still. Now he feels better. He's fully healthy. And you're seeing he's quick. He's physical, maybe a little bit more physical than we expected. And you know what? The guy knows his role. I'll say this. Like, I wouldn't be taking him out of the lineup again anytime soon. Like, I compare him to the impact that Mangiapane makes in his minutes. It's night and day. So, yeah, I wouldn't be taking him out of the lineup for sure. There's no reason to. So you put him in and they go from there. Hey, Gregor, how many minutes 5-on-5 is a third line play? How many minutes does Nugent Hopkins play? And how many minutes would you expect him at 5-on-5? The way Nomblock goes nuclear, I just fear Nugent Hopkins would be even fewer minutes as 3C. Randy. Well, Randy, if you're worried about the nuclear, I just said McDavid and Draisaitl are nuclear, then who's your number 2C? It's automatically Nugent Hopkins, right? He's the number 2C when they go nuclear. He's not going to be the number 3C when they go nuclear because there's no number 2. It's Draisaitl. So that's not going to change. He'll still be that. So, it's not going to change at all. So Nugent, if he plays a minute less as the third line center, I don't think it's a big deal. He's not a huge productive player 5-on-5, right? So I don't think I actually think less is more for Nugent Hopkins, right? He's not the biggest guy. So if he ends up playing a minute less a game, I don't see it being a huge deal for him, right? I don't have much of a concern about ice time for Nugent Hopkins if he's playing the 3C position. Trust me, he will get more than enough ice time. That would probably be one of like the least concerned things I have for him right now, right? So I can get what his exact minutes are 5-on-5 so far this season, but I wouldn't be that concerned if Nugent Hopkins, because right now he's playing 13 minutes a night 5-on-5. Right. So if you look at forwards already on the Edmonton Oilers, he's not, and that's with him playing at times because he doesn't always play with McDavid's line. Right. McDavid's at 16, Draisaitl's at 16, Hyman's at 15, Rostovic's 14.5, Podkolzin is at 14, Kapanen 13.36, and then Nuge is 13.11. Henrique's 11.05. I don't think he'd go down because Henrique's kind of being third and fourth line center. So. Yeah, Nuge is playing 13 minutes. I bet you if he's your third line center, he'll continue to play 13 minutes. I don't see it changing very much. Maybe down to 12. I don't think it's a problem. Nugent Hopkins, the coach loves him, and rightfully so. He can do a lot of things. He's not suddenly going to be seeing a massive dip in his minutes. Just won't. So that won't be a concern for me at all. Cons, who do you like in the NFL this weekend?
I think, starting off with tomorrow's game, I'm going to lean towards the Buffalo Bills. I just think that you have the best player, in my opinion, left in the playoffs in Josh Allen, a guy who can raise his game and make those game-changing pills despite a tough Broncos defense. And you know what? I wasn't really impressed with what I saw from the Broncos in Week 18. So I think the Bills get that one. I'll take the Seahawks at home. A lot of tough injuries for the Niners. Wouldn't be surprised to see them cover that 7-point spread, but not concerned about the injury popping up for the Seahawks. I think the key to them success, even with a potentially injured Sam Darnold, is running the football and keeping their defense doing what they can do. On Sunday, I like the Texans. I just think that, we saw the Patriots offensive line. They gave up 5 sacks against the Chargers pass rush. The Houston Texans defense is a lot better, and they have some better guys on the back end as well. CJ Stroud can't fumble, can't have the turnover issues, but I think the Texans can get it done on the road. And then, we had a text come in. You and I both picked the Rams in Chicago, even with the cold weather, but the Rams had a really good cold weather game last year against the Philadelphia Eagles. Matthew Stafford, playing in the NFC North for a long time, played games in Green Bay, played games in Chicago. Both their running backs played college at cold weather climates. Devontae Adams had a lot of success with the Packers in the cold weather. So I like the Rams on the road. The Bears, if they play a full game, can win. But I don't think, if they fall behind like they did against Green Bay last week, I don't think the Rams defense lets them back into it. So, yeah, give me the Rams, give me the Texans. I'll take the Seahawks at home and the Bills. As I say it, I realize I'm picking 3 out of 4 road teams, but I'm going to go with it.
All right. Well, it's kind of wide open this year in the NFL, and picking the Bills on the road against the Broncos isn't crazy. Now the Broncos defense is pretty good, and I'm curious. I wonder if the Broncos are going to blitz as much as they did in the regular season.
I mean, I don't know if I would be wanting to do that against Josh Allen. Like, if that happens, I mean, he's got some receivers, although he doesn't have that, stud receiver that some other guys might have. I think, Khalil Shakir, guys like they can find ways to get open. He's got a couple good tight ends. You bring the blitz and all of a sudden dump it off to James Cook. We know how good he is and how much he can make you pay. I think you got to be a little bit cautious because also Josh Allen can step up into the pocket and he can run as good as any quarterback in football. So I think there could be some risk if you bring the blitz too often. Josh Allen could make you pay.
Conman, have yourself an awesome weekend. Thanks to you and Declan. Thanks for everybody all week for listening and watching the show. Again, thanks for the John Reed Tournament for having us. Hope everybody has a safe, happy weekend. Enjoy lacrosse if you're going to the NLL game tonight. You got Oil Kings tomorrow, Oilers on Sunday. You got the BCHL All-Star Weekend going on in Spruce Grove. You got John Reed here. So there is lots and lots of sports, and many of you will be watching the NFL. So enjoy it all. Have fun, and we will talk to you on Monday. Let's get to the Comment of Sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca. Now, you might need some food. Well, guess what? You want good, healthy food you don't have to make? Loca is the place to be. Go to meals.loca.ca, and they will deliver to you. Check it out. I've had it. It's awesome. Love it. Check it out at Loca, meals.loca.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
5 games in the NHL tonight. After 20 minutes, Red Wings and Sharks tied at 1 apiece, and the Kings up on the Panthers 1-0. Later on, Blues and Lightning, the Preds in Colorado, and the Kings taking on the Ducks in the association. Toronto early, they lead the Clippers though, 18-7 in the first. Elsewhere, Pacers have a 60-48 lead over the Pelicans, and the Cavs trail the Sixers 43-38. Later on tonight, the Edmonton Oil Kings are in action. They'll take on the Medicine Hat Tigers just after 7 in the AJ. 4 games, including Drayton Valley and Whitecourt. Kodiak's taking on the Bobcats, and the PWHL right now. After 20 minutes, Minnesota up on New York 1-0. The news from the majors. Bo Bichette's time in Toronto has come to an end. As reports say, he has signed a 3-year deal with the New York Mets worth $126 million. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next is Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app.